check. Sibilance.
Stop clapping.
I can bring all the claps I want. Can you turn mine down a little bit in my headset? It's just a little blurry. There we go. Basically the same. Perfect. It's going to be epic.
Ooh.
I want to thank our new sponsor,
No.
Tropical
No.
Cafe.
No.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
No.
We have a great deal with
Wait,
them.
which one's mine? Is this one mine?
That's yours.
Oh. Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Do you want to get some more mouth feel on that mic? So, yeah, my deal that I worked out with Tropical Smoothie Cafe is I just send up Gabby with money, and then they just give me smoothies.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's sick.
It's similar to the sponsorship I have with Discraft.
Yeah.
So the Discraft sponsorship that I have is actually very complicated because they send the discs for me.
Yeah.
And it's like a scavenger hunt. They actually send them kind of all over the place. And then I have to go and find them. And they explain it to me in some way that like it's a cutback in shipping or something.
Yeah.
So they just send my discs to like stores, internet sites, all this other stuff. And then to let them know that I found it, I just give those people a little bit of money. And then they report back to Discraft that like I got my discs.
Have you ever asked Discraft why it's just always a scavenger hunt?
Well,
Like, hey, this is sweet and fun, but like, how about sometimes you just send it to me?
Well, they don't really take my phone calls. So,
do they even know that you're sponsored?
Well, that's
by
the
them?
thing. They haven't officially said anything to me about the sponsorship, but
Yeah.
I know. Like, I can tell. Like when I get to the store
Yeah.
and I see it, and I'm like, oh shit, they put this here for me.
Yeah.
And then I just assume that that's part of the sponsorship.
Yeah.
So it's complicated. I know that sponsorships are complicated, but you know,
They're
I
complicated.
have a scavenger hunt sponsorship. Yeah. I never went to Specs Howard, but I think like their first class that you have in terms of doing like any kind of broadcasting is like what not to do with your mouth and nose close to a microphone. And I think you just like I got this, guys.
Yeah. This guy keeps texting me from Specs Howard. Like, hey, you want to sign up for classes? I just keep ignoring him. Cheers.
Cheers.
Is this new?
Why don't you jam your thumb into it? No, that's just a regular actual pre-workout.
Really? I didn't get
Yeah.
like my face goes.
Not yet.
Okay. It's a buildup.
This is actually the strongest one.
Really?
Yeah. And I just put like one scoop, so like one actual pre-workout. So we're just like splitting a pre-workout.
Okay.
So it's not going to be anything nuts.
Oh,
But that's the actual,
Dang.
that pre-workout is actually the strongest one.
nice.
So we each took like half of a strong pre-workout. Okay. So let's get into it. Welcome.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to this Monday morning edition. It is a grainy day today. It's gray. It's supposed to rain later. I just came up with grainy on the spot.
Whatever, you know.
I'm on fire today.
Rules, they don't apply to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So how was your weekend?
Dude, this one died.
Yeah, I told you it's
the one that you lit. I mean,
it's
I know
limp.
you lit too, but
yeah, but the wick is like bent over into the wax.
you didn't
So-
even try taking it out of the wax and then laying.
No, because I really didn't care at all.
Thanks.
No, it has
I
nothing,
really appreciate
it has nothing
that.
to do with you.
It's my side of the table,
Oh,
and you just,
it's
dude.
the,
I took the time to set you up
it's
something
the
really
closest
nice
one.
because you're like,
Now
I
you're-
don't know what to put
now-
out,
Now I'm starting.
and
to
then
feel
I'm
bad.
like, I see some sweet wasps,
Now
and then
feeling
I'm like,
bad.
wow, he's got way more than I thought. So let's put them all up there just to flex on them.
Yeah, now you're flexing on
People.
me. A lot of hostility on this Monday. So,
My weekend is good. Why do you need a whole roll of paper towel?
well, I don't. I just normally we kind of have too
Make
much.
messes?
Yeah, I think you made a little mess over there.
Where?
I don't know.
Okay. Do I need a paper towel? Just because.
No.
Okay.
When I don't have the paper towel is when you need the paper towel. So I'm just trying to be a good host. I already blew it with the candle. I don't know.
way to.
It's all falling apart. Anyways, sounds good. My weekend was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you do this weekend?
Awkward as fuck.
Because we had like no tournaments going on. So.
Yeah. Well, Friday we did a lot. We worked
Yeah.
out. First thing we did the bin challenge.
Yep.
Check it out. It'll be up soon, or it'll probably be up for sure by the time this.
A lot of stuff is going to be edited today. There's a lot going on this weekend, and then by the time I got home yesterday, I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna lay down.
Yeah.
It was like 11 when I got home
Really?
after like a full day of golfing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sweet.
Yeah. So Friday we did the bin challenge.
Yep.
I lost. That's why the Pete Weber's still on that side of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did the podcast.
Yep.
And then we worked out.
Yep.
Yes.
And then I went and filmed varsity football, which was actually sweet.
Football.
It was football.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
I thought it was soccer. It was not.
Oh.
It was football,
Yeah.
and it was solid.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it's for Rochester high schools now for me. And then Saturday there was a varsity soccer game that I was supposed to film. I drove 45 minutes there to realize that Rochester canceled because possibly someone tested positive. So I was like, that's cool.
Yeah,
Still got paid for it, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then I went and filmed football in Pontiac. And it
Okay.
was Macomb versus Pontiac schools. And it was, I forget the divisions. I've never gotten into football. So like my football, how it's played is very limited or whatever.
I didn't
But,
know
like,
that, really?
Yeah, totally. Like my parents weren't like sports
yeah.
fanatics. Yeah. Like my dad's computer nerds, whatever. I was talking to him about it. He's like, yeah, I'm not really interested. I was like, yeah, I know. And it's just funny, like how much more into it into it now versus then, because then it was a lot of like, I could give two shits about like a lot of sports or whatever. And now it's just like, I'm into it. I like it. I realize that middle school sports is like, I'd rather go watch varsity, like high school, whatever, because the plays were just bad. The coaches were ridiculous, and you could tell, at least for me, and I'm sure it's totally obvious for a lot of other people, that middle school organization, for at least for this one team, was totally disheveled, like across the board.
Yeah.
And then the other team was like at least clear and concise and organized and had a plan of attack and everything.
Yeah.
It was a long, grueling day. I went from doing like one soccer game and got canceled to drive to Pontiac and did 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, it was like, God damn it. Like,
So did the disheveled team win?
no, they won 0 games. And I think my favorite part was listening to the announcer, because the announcer was one of like the assistant coaches, or like assistant to an assistant coach. Like he's trying to get into it. He was like new at announcing. Like I could tell.
Yeah.
And you could just tell, because he was very excited for his team scoring. And then when it was like the Macomb Mustangs scored, he's like, and the Macomb Mustangs scored. And he like would lean away from the mic and like very unenthusiastic, which I mean makes sense. But also it was just so funny, like the hurt you could hear in his voice after they scored like the first touchdown, kicked the field goal, second touchdown, made the field goal, third. It's like Macomb Mustangs 27-0 at the end of the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Like every time.
He's
It
up
was
there
great.
like drinking scotch.
Oh yeah, he was pissed.
Yeah. He's like loaded by the end of it.
Yeah, oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of fun like filming these.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm
great.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's wildly
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And then, yeah. And you can kind of set your own mood because you're not tied to any of the outcomes.
Yeah,
So you're just there literally as a neutral, non-invested viewer.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So-
I totally missed a play, which was fine because the play sucked anyways.
Yeah.
And it was because I was watching. I don't know if it was a parent or a coach that was hurt because he was on crutches or whatever, but he was screaming at, what was it, number 53.
Are we at middle school still at this point?
Yeah. It's all middle school. It's just like, or not all, the two. Either way,
Yeah.
It's probably the teams that's like 13 to whatever the hell it is for that division, and he was just going off on this kid, and he was like screaming at it. The Pontiac team did not want to hit. They didn't. Like I could tell like they just don't want to hit, or like they get the ball and they break away, and the dude is like ahead of McCon, and you can see it's just like la 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 la.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like run, like
Right.
why aren't you running? Like I think he intercepted
Yeah.
and then just like took off down the fucking one side, and then just got tackled out of bounds.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, you had it.
Yeah.
You were right fucking there. Like, I don't know, the parent, like, you're grounded. Like, you can't run. Like, do the running stuff. But
Yeah.
so this guy's yelling at this kid, and he's just like, just jump on the ground. Like, just jump in the air and fall on the ground like a dead fish or whatever. And he just couldn't do it right or whatever. And a lot of it was like, don't use your arms. I don't want to see arms. I just want up, down. Like, bam.
Yeah.
It was just funny to me because it's like, it seems like a hard thing to do when your body's just like, we don't want to do that.
Right.
Like, it's hard. I got entirely sidetracked by it because it lasted for a good like 2 minutes or something like that. And then afterwards of like him jumping up and falling on the ground, he like made him run and all this other stuff. And then all the other coaches are yelling at other coaches like on their side. Like the one coach is yelling at another coach to coach better. Stuff. Meanwhile, this guy's up here just like taking pictures on his iPad and stuff. It was very entertaining, just in that sense.
Yeah.
Like at least this part was fun. Like the games itself were like whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but the Friday game was a lot of fun. Like it was sick to watch. Both teams were very good.
Yeah.
And a dude, so I was up in the press box on whatever, like at the very top. And there is I don't know if he loves football or if it's literally like his parents were like a football and like the field goal and they made him or something. I don't know. He was loud, like yelling at the top of his lungs. And he was very pissed when his team wasn't scoring or whatever. And I don't know if he was up there because that was only for media coverage. So it was like me and like 4 other camera guys. One was live streaming. And I'm just like there to capture. I'm not sure what he was doing because after he did all his screaming and yelling at one point, there was like a shitty tackle attempted or whatever. And he wanted the call. Like, oh, he's like, what? I don't remember what tackling rules are, but he like hit the legs like really low or at the knee or whatever. And they didn't call it. And he's just losing his mind. Like when I say he's screaming at the top of his lungs, no matter what it is, at what point in time, he's going for like a solid half hour. And then at one point he makes that argument to the ether.
Right.
And then just like blacks out. I don't know. Like he fell on the ground. I thought he was being like the dramatic guy, like, oh my, and he like flails on the ground. And then I realized like, oh, he like actually blacked out, got lightheaded and fell over or what. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what to do. Everybody else was on it, which I was like, thanks. Like I have to like film this or like, I wasn't sure. Like I haven't witnessed this like basically ever. And then like paramedics were already there and everything. Then he got up. He's like, oh, I'm good. I figured he was fine because he just blacked out. He didn't hit his head. He literally just fell on turf. But still, it was just like, what the shit? Amanda was with me too.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what happened? Like, I didn't know she was paying attention. But yeah, that was kind of nutty. Like, I didn't know. Like, I don't know what I can be so adamant about that I'm just sitting there screaming about it for like a half hour.
Till you lose consciousness.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like little kid football is probably that thing. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess.
I got 2 funny things with that. One, I was really good at soccer.
Okay.
Nobody gave a shit about soccer.
Yeah.
Everybody played baseball when I was a kid. Soccer's grown since then. Like I grew up in Berkeley. I played soccer where like the city of Berkeley didn't even have youth soccer.
Okay.
So my dad actually like this is going to be committed to the internet. My dad's dead, so it doesn't matter. But we made a team. My dad made a team, and then we played in the Ferndale League as like an outside team.
Okay.
And they let us because Ferndale's a really nice city in terms of like friendliness.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's a nice city to live in. But at that time, it really wasn't the best place to live.
No.
No. But anyways, they let us like play in the league. And so for letting us play in the league, my dad just had kids on the team that were too old. And we went
by like a year or two.
Yeah, by like a year. But it's a big deal in
Yeah.
soccer, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like crucial years, like the years when you start to like,
grow and become like a big person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like all of a sudden we had Eric Rondo. I played on a team with my brother. My brother's 2 years older than me. And it was like the cutoff was like, I think maybe like right around my brother's birthday. But then we had people that were like, their birthdays were earlier than my brother's. So they definitely were not. I didn't understand this till later on in life, but I got it now. So the city of Berkeley gave us a budget from like the Parks and Rec Center for like uniforms and stuff, since we're going to represent Berkeley and whatever. My dad had petitioned them. So we got uniforms, and we went down and played against like kids, and we were kids, but we were slightly older than those kids.
Basically,
so
adults.
We went like super undefeated, and it was like bad. Like we had Eric Rondo. I still remember these people's name. We had Eric Rondo, who was super fucking fast, and my brother was pretty fast, and whatever. We went like completely crazy undefeated, and so then like at the end of the season, they like were like, yeah, you guys can't play in our league anymore.
Yeah.
So because we won, but we're like kicked out of the league, they didn't do anything for us being the winners. So my dad again petitioned City of Berkeley Parks and Rec for like money for like a trophy or something.
Yeah.
Because be like, these kids worked hard all year, yada yada. So the city like kicked in some money. So my dad bought a trophy that was like 4 feet tall. Like
really?
Like legit. It was like 4 levels. You know what I mean? Like at the
Yeah.
bottom, the posts are like pretty big, and then a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller. Then there's like
Yeah.
like an angel or something on top. I don't know, whatever it is, and a cup in the middle, and like a plaque. And so we had like a little banquet at the rec center in Berkeley on Catalpa there, and we had like a little banquet or whatever, and just like reveled in our like illegitimate victories and whatever. And then my dad just kept the trophy. And so we had it at my house. I threw it away after my dad died. But yeah. So
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why?
Because it was a fraud. It was a sham. And it was
but it's like there's a story to
No, but it was too much. It was
Really?
just too much. Like, so my dad, right, put together a team that didn't meet the requirements to go beat up a bunch of kids that were like
Did it
actually
meet or were it was over exceeded?
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know.
And then had the city of Berkeley buy him a trophy for doing so. And then like as a grown ass adult, like just reveled in that trophy.
Yeah.
So I had to get rid of it. But it was hilarious. So we had that. And then so after a few years, when I turned 8, I think at that point I was like 6 or 7. My brother was like 8 or 9 or something. So at 8, you can start to play Little League Baseball in Berkeley. You used to be able to. I don't know what it is now because I don't follow little kid sports.
Yeah.
Shockingly enough. But
crazy.
so I took, at that point, like I had become a really good soccer player because I had been playing soccer since I was like born. So I went and played Little League Baseball. I had a good arm. I was like, oh, this would be sweet.
Yeah.
But again, just like my lack of swimming ability, like,
You have a lack of swimming ability?
oh yeah, I did. I'm a terrible
nice.
swimmer. So because how do you learn how to swim and how do you swim?
Yeah.
You have to go to a pool.
Yeah.
So to go to a pool would have involved like my dad loading us up in the car and taking us to a pool. No. So the only time I got to go in the pool is when we could nag the kid down the street, Brianna, to ask her mom to let us go in her pool, and then we would go in there, but we would just like flail around. Like it wasn't like, okay, kids, quit playing around. I got to learn how to swim because I thought I was going to be embarrassed as an adult, which is what ended up happening. But
like if we were going to the
I'm not going to drown,
Okay.
but I'm not confident. I'm not comfortable, and I'm in no way efficient. So it is what it is. Gabby makes fun of me. Everybody makes fun of me. When I dated Natalia, when she lived in Miami, like we would go in the ocean, like every time I'd go there, and I was always just like, oh, and they would make fun of me all the time.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so my swimming ability is limited because we never got taken to a pool. And when we went to the lake, it was fishing time.
Yeah.
Like we very rarely ever went to like the beach part of the lake. We were
Gotcha.
always fishing. So I didn't really learn how to swim. So baseball, like I can throw really well. To this day, I don't know how well I could throw, but I used to be able to throw like really, really well. And I'm fast. So that part of the game's good. But the batting part, how do you get good at batting? Right? Like you're not hitting it off a tee.
Yeah.
You have to go to like a batting cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we went to a batting cage like twice. So like, so I'm good in the field, right?
Yeah.
And I'm good at like running the bases, but like contact with-
Hitting next.
hitting,
Darren
not so good.
Harrison. Ah!
So first game in Little League, there's something where you have to like rotate the players through. It's like you actually have to bat or whatever it is. Like you can't just ride the pine the whole game.
Yeah.
So my first game, first up to bat, I'm standing there and I like tap the bat on the plate and I'm getting ready with my like pre-routine.
Yeah.
And as I'm doing that, the pitcher threw the ball. And it was a strike. Like I didn't even have the bat up on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like it's down here. I'm like looking down, and then like as I'm bringing the bat up, the ball comes by, and the umpire's like strike.
Wait,
So
what?
I backed up, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like I was like,
yeah.
"That's total nonsense." And my coach, I'm not going to say his name. He
Mhm.
was a drunk, and then
Yeah.
he just was like yelling at me, "Get back in there!" Blah blah blah. I was like, "Okay, cool." So
Yeah.
I get in there. So then
Okay, cool.
so I just walk into the like boxing with the bat like on my shoulder. I'm already unnerved. I like walk in there, and this fucking guy just rifles me in the ribs, like full boat right into the side.
Yeah.
Good. And I was like, oh, and I just started crying.
Yeah.
So
Strike two.
yeah, no, they didn't call that a strike.
Yeah.
So the coach comes over and I'm crying because like he threw it like as hard as he could. I'm 8.
Yeah.
And it just blasted me. I think on my team you could be like up to 10 because I think I was the same 8, like in the same Little League or whatever as my brother, and he was 2 years older than me. So it was like a 10-year-old full bore right into my ribs.
Yeah.
And I'm already upset because I felt like I got fucked on the first strike.
Yeah.
So my emotions are running high. And my coach comes over and he's like, you get to go to first. And I'm like, "Ah," and I was like crying. And he turns to me and he goes, "You don't want everybody to see what a baby you are. Just go to first base." And I remember looking at him like, what the fuck is that?
I'm 8.
So I went to first base. And I remember like that day being like, fuck this. I am not doing this.
Yeah.
And the season was broken up into 2 parts. And so I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not doing this again. So I think I got 1 hit all season. I got a double. Other than that, it was just like go up to the plate. Who knows?
Strike
I was
out,
so
whatever.
nervous after that getting hit. I got hit 1 more time.
Oh
Like
God.
I think in the first game, like I think like the same game. I don't know my memory. I was 8,
Yeah.
but I know I got hit again. And I remember like the rest of the season, I was just like every time I'd go up there, I was like, what the fuck is gonna go on?
Yeah.
We went to the batting cage like twice, so I never got to like hone any skills. The only time I got to hit a ball was like at practice. But I did get a double like the second to last game of the season.
Nice.
But like the morale when I'd go to bat, they're like, oh, here we go. Like basically with all the 8-year-olds anyways. Like there
Yeah.
are a couple 8-year-olds that would like get hits, but for the most part, like the little kids on the team, when they go to bat, they're like, here we go, here's an out. And I went from the sport where like I was literally like the most dominant guy
Yeah.
to like being a total fucking scrub.
Yeah.
And I'm getting hit and like yelled at by this drunk. And I'm just like, dude, fuck this. Like, why would I ever do this?
Yeah.
So after the first half of the season, like it's 2 different parts or whatever, I was just like, yeah, I'm good.
Mhm.
I'm good. This was great. Fuck baseball.
Yeah.
Who cares? I'm going to go play soccer. And then I just went back to playing soccer. And after that, like, it was ridiculous. So I was like super pumped about that. But, yeah, the coaching situation, I don't know how it is now because it's a lot more like interactive. But when I was a kid, the coaching situation was nuts. Like I can remember him drinking beer at practice, like
Really?
yeah, like cracking cans. Like one of his sons was on our team, and I remember just him getting into it with his son at practice,
Nice.
like almost every time.
Perfect.
And I was just like, dude, this is a shit show. Like,
Yeah.
what is going on here? Yeah.
He's like trying to live vicariously through his son, and his son's just like not wanting to do any of it.
Yeah, I don't know. And the other thing with,
Yeah.
I don't know. He was a little guy too, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like baseball has a whole bunch of little guys sometimes, you know.
Mhm.
So I don't know. But yeah, so I went golfing this weekend. I went golfing on Saturday. After
Yeah.
Friday, I was still pretty sore. I stretched out a bunch, stretched out my back. And then Saturday got up, did some stuff, whatever. I worked to reorganize the bins a little bit because they were unorganized and it was driving me crazy.
Yeah, and it's a Darren thing.
And it's
so,
a me.
yeah.
Like this has to be in good shape.
Yeah.
So then we went to Ann Arbor to go golfing with one of Gabby's best friends, Sydney. Sydney's dad is an avid golfer and belongs to the country club in Ann Arbor, Barton Hills. And so he wanted to, he is always trying to get Sydney to do whatever, just to spend time. He loves his daughter. He's a great guy, great dad. And shout out to Mark. Phenomenal human being.
Yeah.
So
Way to be a good human being.
Yeah, way to be amazing.
Yeah.
And so he wanted Sydney to come out. So Sydney was like, well, it was the day we were supposed to get married, was Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, well, I'm spending the day with Darren and Gabby because they're supposed to get married. They were supposed to get married before COVID. So can they come? And he was like, yeah, whatever. Like, everybody can come. No big deal. So I was super excited because I was like, fuck yeah, I get to go golf at a course I can never golf at. And whatever. I've already gone golfing 3 times this year.
Wow.
First one went well. Second 2. Dicey.
Things.
So I was like, here we go. And then I was like, oh, I hope I don't embarrass myself. Like at the country club. Like, obviously, if this guy belongs to a country club, like, he golfs a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of money to belong to a country club. You don't just do it so you can go get dinners there.
Yeah.
So we got there and whatever. Like, I like to have time to warm up, hit some balls and putt and stuff, especially my back being tight. I was a little nervous. But first drive, I kind of blew because I was worried about my back. So I was just kind of tight on my swing. 2 off the first, though. Second one was a little bit better. And then I hit a good iron shot. First drive on the second hole, same thing. Total shit. No 2 off the second. Iron shot was pretty good. But I ended up shooting the best 9 of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, I hit the fucking green from everywhere. Like, I hit the green out of the rough from, like, I don't even know, buck 85, like, pulling down on a 6 iron, like, with a draw. And it did it. And, like, it hit the green and then, like, rolled over and, like, got stopped right on the fringe. And I was like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, puff, you're just looking around. Like, ladies.
Yeah. So when I went to Houghton Lake, the second round I played in Houghton Lake with my uncle and my cousin, I think I had a couple of 4 putts. And I had at least a few 3 putts, for sure. And I was on a streak there at Barton Hills, which is a way, way harder course that we were playing, where I got, like, I think 3 pars in a row and a birdie. And the most that I had done was 2 putt. And then we were on, like, the 7th hole. And Mark later turned to me, he goes, wow, you're a really good putter.
Yeah.
And I was like, today? It doesn't always go like this.
Yeah.
But it was so great. It was it made me remember, like, how much I like playing traditional golf, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I just love golf in general.
Yeah.
Like, I could.
One day I'll play around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to go out.
I know.
I'll take you out. Because we can just throw Gabby's clubs on the cart.
Okay.
Because you have to have a set of clubs per person.
Gotcha.
But they're not going to inspect the clubs and be like, you're playing with this women's set from Dunham's.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah, I am. Don't assume my gender,
yeah.
bitch. But
Don't
yeah.
make me call my dad.
But yeah, we'll hit the driving range and then go. Maybe that's the next thing we'll do.
Okay.
We'll hit the driving range and we can do like a combo and go play like 18 and 18.
Ooh.
And just really beat the shit out of our bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. I think
I hate my body.
I think that's what we'll do. I think that'll be great. Figure out a day because it's gonna be easiest for golf soon. But once the leaves like really start to fall, it becomes really difficult because it's hard to find your ball just because there's so many leaves and like it just started. So like a couple of holes we were looking for the ball and like there were leaves and then you're like, fuck, is that a leaf or a ball? And it makes it more difficult. And once they really fall, like it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And you're going to get annoyed with losing balls anyways. It's just part of early golf.
Probably.
Not hitting it and losing your ball. Those are the big like frustrations of early golf.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a hilarious moment, which I was telling you about before we started. We're on the 9th hole. I'm at 35 after 8. So I was like a few over par. I finished 7 over par, and I took a triple on the last hole. So I was 4 over after 8 holes. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, okay, cool. So there's like a pond off to the left, but like way off to the left, like diagonal away from you. And I turned to Mark and I was like, oh, there's water on this one. And he goes, yeah, it doesn't come into play. And I was like, okay. So then I was standing there and I was like, this is going to be the best 8 of my life.
Yeah.
So then I was thinking like, I'm going to fucking send this. So as you know, when you think I'm going to fucking send this, totally pulled it, opened up my stance, hit the ball, it hit across, bounced, dribbled, and then rolled right into the pond. I was like, that pond's not in play. Watch this.
Yeah.
Totally smashed it in there. But then I kind of made up for it and got out of there. And then I think I 3-putted on that hole to finish with the 8. And then I, finished with the 43, which was pretty good.
Nice.
But yes.
How good of a golfer is Mark?
It's hard to say because, in all honesty, which was heartwarming, he was actually really distracted with Gabby and Sydney.
Okay.
And his number one priority, even before we ever teed off, he told me, he goes, I might not even play all the holes because I want to make sure that, like, one, our pace of play is okay because he doesn't want to embarrass himself at his club
Yeah.
by, like, holding everybody up. And two, I want to make sure, like, that they're good.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And I thought that was like an out in case stuff starts going shitty.
Yeah.
But the reality is he was really consumed with like how the girls were and how they were doing and whatever.
Gotcha.
I tried to stay out of it because I know Gabby taking instruction from me on anything gets real dicey.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to like suffocate her good time, like
being the guy, like, here's how to do it, instead of like just going out and having fun.
Yeah. Every flame needs air, right? You don't want to like. You want to let that passion grow for the sport. You don't want to be like, no, keep your head down. No, keep your shoulders straight. So we got there, and he lied to them and told them that the tee time was actually way earlier than it was. Brilliant move. Because I didn't know what time the tee time was. And then I'm driving to the course. And I was like, what time's the tee time? And we were teeing off in 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, just so you know, in golf, you're always going to want to get there at least 20 minutes early because they have a thing called a practice green. So you can putt on it, and it's cut the same way that the greens on the course are cut. So you can see like how fast the greens are for the day.
Yeah.
Also, it's pretty good to like use your body a little bit before you're going to try to like mash balls.
Yeah.
So that way you don't pull something or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, body, we're going to go do this.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden, here we go. So we got there. I got out of the cart. I'm kind of like puckered up, because I'm like, fuck, how's this going to go? And then I was like, yeah, sorry that we got here late. And he's like, oh, don't worry. The tee time isn't until blah, blah, blah. And I said, you're kind of a genius. And he's like, oh, I've been here before. I said, oh, okay, cool. So we had time. And then he took us over. He's like, well, there's a putting green if you want to putt. And I'm just going to get Sydney kind of on the right path and get her like making contact before we play because otherwise it can be brutal.
Yeah.
In terms of her mood, not in terms of performance.
Gotcha.
So the two of them together, Bip and Bop, which is what I've named them, they were just Bip and Bop the whole time.
Yeah.
And then they were trashed. So we're on hole 8, and they're lined up. Like one of them picked up their ball at some point, so they put their balls like basically, kind of equidistant from the hole and about 15 feet apart from each other, which is already kind of dangerous, but whatever. Gabby's on this side, Sydney's on that side. Mark and I are in the golf cart, and we're pulling up. And then Mark looked down at his phone, and we looked down at his phone. They both swung. The club actually came out of Gabby's hand, flew behind her, and then Sydney just hit the deck because she was laughing, and then was like literally like laid out on the ground laughing. And then Mark looked back up, and he goes, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I said, Gabby dropped her club, and Sydney fell down. He's like, "Alcohol might be a factor at this point," and I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is." And then the next swing. They set them down. They were on opposite sides, and Sydney was too close to the cart. So when she swung on her back through, she just roasted the hood of the roof of the cart with her club. And then Mark was like, "I think we're done." So then they just kind of picked up, and I was the only one that actually played out the last hole.
Gotcha.
Because Mark was kind of done with it, and he was just joking around with them.
And they're basically non-existent.
They were done at that point. So they had been making Snapchats the whole time and whatever. It was pretty funny.
That's amazing.
And then in the morning, I got up, drove Gabby home so she could have Sunday Fun Day with a different friend of hers, Hannah. And then I went and played while I came home and completed finishing the bins. Top priority.
Yes.
And then I went and met up with Will, and we went and had a Challenger Cup, Challenger Chalice hardware playoff at Mott Park in Flint. We played 2 rounds there, and I love that course.
Yeah.
They put in the concrete tee pads for the longs, and I really, really, really like that course. It's like a city park. You know what I mean? It's not like Firefighters. It's more like, I don't know what I'd compare it to. It's not on a huge plot of land, and it's very much in like a park. But the way that they set the course up on the park, there's a whole bunch of different shots, and then there's a lot of out of bounds when you get back to that corner, and that is the separator.
Yeah.
It's like if you just play it safe, you're going to par the first one and then bogey the next one. And then the one after that, you can par or bogey, depending on how you play it. Gotcha. And if you just accept that, that's how it goes. But if you ever try to go for it, dude, you can ring up a 7 on that hole. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's only one hole out there that I have no idea how to do. and it's a long pad on 12. You're throwing over this like butterfly sanctuary, like literally that's what it is, and it's like all these like plants that are over my head, and you just throw over this corner, but it's like a pretty big corner that you're throwing over, and then down to like a little thing, and then there's some trees there, and then the basket's behind it. It's a pretty far shot over the stuff. It's not super far, but it's a pretty far shot over it. But it's hard to get like an angle over it because there's like a random tree in there, and then like these parts of it are taller. So I just go out of bounds there all the time. I like don't quite make it over. You know, like I both.
How far is the hole? Like, and how's it laid out?
So basically, I can do it on here. So if here is the thing, the tee pad's like kind of right here facing this way. There's trees. There's like 2 clumps of trees over here, and the basket's kind of behind that tree. And then the OB kind of comes like out and around here. So you're just facing OB. And there's no way, like you can't really, like it would be kind of an odd forehand if you were to forehand around the OB this way and not actually engage the OB. So the thing with the OB is in a lot of places it's like 8 or 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
So you can't, like you can throw a hyzer, but there's like a tree, like basically right into the hyzer line. So you can kind of throw a flex or I don't know. It's just a weird line with the distance you have to cover. So
weird.
I don't think it would be a big deal for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like right at a weird distance for me.
Maybe our next challenge that we do is just at Mott.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we should at least just go play Mott.
Yeah. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Maybe we can see if there's a golf course out there. We could go do Mott and then do a golf course. We'll have to figure out what that would be. Yeah. But anyways, I love that course. It's fun. It's good shots. It's a good mental course because there's any number of holes out there that you can fall apart on, and you have to be able to like get to the next tee pad and be like, all right, we're going from here, right?
Yeah.
In the tournament or whatever. That's the one where I saw Lyle Downing just continuously throw discs out of bounds because he didn't want his round to count against his rating.
Nice.
And then Phil yelled at him after the round, and it was epic.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you're a professional. You're sponsored. You're representing a company.
I mean, after everything, I'm not surprised that.
Yeah. But this was before all that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
You saw him since?
After that? Yeah. He was at Kensington one time. I was out there with.
No, I mean after the internet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. After the thing.
The 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dirty Dozen or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw him out at Black Locust, and I was with Fred and Austin, I think. And Fred and I made like the eye contact. And then I think, what was that? I think Austin saw us do that or whatever. And then it was him and his girlfriend's dad. So him and his girlfriend's dad play disc golf pretty frequently. And he's like highly encouraging in doing it. I don't know what he's up to. It's been like, he's a weird guy, kind of. Like, I don't know. Either way, he saw them, and you're like, oh, we play with that guy, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, he's pretty good, and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, like he can do some good stuff or whatever. But it's like, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, what do you do and things and stuff. But yeah, it was very eerie. Like, man, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't
awkward. It's awkward.
Yeah.
Awkward to interact with.
Yeah, Lyle Downing is
it's awkward.
kind of sleazy.
Yeah. So, anyways, I got done playing Mott with Will.
Yeah.
And my first round wasn't that hot. My second round was actually pretty good. I didn't try to throw real hard because my back still. I'm like, I don't want to whatever.
What's course par there? You know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
18 holes, 54.
Yeah, but any like legit par fours there?
There's some serious legit par fours.
Gotcha.
I think there's one hole there that I've never threed.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I have threed like once or something. But
is it the one hole you just described to me?
No.
Okay.
No. It's that one. There's like really no OB. Like sometimes they'll let the grass grow in and do OB, but now they've planted trees there, so I don't think that they're gonna do that again.
Okay.
It's just kind of a long hole, and it's a little bit of a weird setup because you're throwing for tournaments. They have you throw off the sidewalk, and then there's like a hill down, and then there's the flat, but there's kind of trees in front of you, and so you throw out off, and you can either throw like a flex out, or you can throw. I guess you could throw a hyzer flip straight up, which is what I used to do, or you can just throw a straight hyzer. But the way that the second shot sets up is a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty open, but if you go off too far to the right on the drive, which is the miss, instead of missing too far off to the left, if you go off too far to the right, you don't really have like a hyzer going into it. And I don't know how long that hole is, but it's two good drives.
Okay.
Like I got to get a good one off the tee and then a good one off my second shot to be in the circle. So I know now that I'm thinking about it, I think I have parred it, but because I've gotten past the pin in two, and I remember when I did it, I like lost my mind.
Yeah,
you know, like me.
Typical Darren fashion.
Yeah, this gritty kid from the streets of Berkeley. But yeah. So after we got done, my back felt great.
Good.
I was really nervous about it for golf because that's how I think I kind of tweaked it was golfing.
Mm-hmm.
So I stretched out for like a half an hour before we went because the girls had to get ready. And that's usually dead time for me. So
Yeah.
I stretched out a good amount, went and played golf. It loosened up after like 2 holes and I was fine. But after playing Sunday, I was like really loose. So on the way home, I was like, I'm going to stop and throw just to like really throw because I haven't really thrown in like weeks.
Yeah.
Or not in weeks, but like probably a week and a half.
Right.
Since it started getting a little tight. So yeah, so I just stopped at Firefighters. Just randomly. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw. Like we had talked about it. Like I got nostalgic and I was like, I'm going to take my cart and I'm going to throw for aces. So I just like did a warm-up standstill at 8. Almost got it, didn't. And then went to 9, kind of did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Almost got it, didn't. And then I was like, well, I'm going to throw hole 1. But I was throwing hole 1 like full bore.
Yeah.
Which felt great. Like it was so good to like pull everything through and like really rip. And my back was totally fine and everything felt good and actually like loosened up my back more. So I was like, cool. Like,
Yeah.
It's sweet. So yeah, just working on the timing of like actually bringing my arm back in and coming back through instead of like whipping it around.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I got some cool throws.
Good.
And then I went out and tried to throw 5 and then it started raining.
Nice.
And so
I was wondering if it was going to rain yesterday.
Yeah.
Turns out it rained out here and not at Birchfield,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I treated myself to some Wendy's on the way home.
Nice.
Yeah. And then just came home and vegged out. I started watching 2019 USDGC just to get ready.
Yeah.
You know, for my viewership. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like halftime on the basketball game. So I just decided to watch USDGC. And then Gabby came home and took over the TV.
Nice. As she does.
Yep. And then I watched a little bit of basketball and fell asleep. That was it. I was asleep early. Like I was exhausted yesterday
Yeah.
because I didn't really sleep at Pips. I don't sleep well not in my bed.
Yeah.
So at Sydney's place, I didn't really sleep that well. And then I was up late with the girls. So it was what it was.
You know,
But
things and stuff.
great weekend overall.
Yeah.
Super excited to work out today. Body's feeling good.
Yeah. Me
Shitty.
too. We'll see.
Shitty outside, so we'll do a
Yeah.
bunch of inside stuff. It's going to be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So Saturday was lots of sporting events of various skill sets. And then Saturday we planned, we as in Dan and Kyle and myself, we were going to go. And then I dipped out because I was like, you know what? I could use some money. Jonesboro's coming up, need some gas money, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, we're going to go to Birchfield and play.
Yeah.
Because they played, this was Kyle's second time and Dan's third time because they went out Saturday anyways.
Yeah.
And the first time
They went out to Birchfield on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
They still went. I stayed back because sporting.
So they drove to Birchfield, played Birchfield, drove
Yeah.
back home,
Yeah.
drove back to Birchfield,
Yeah.
played Birchfield, drove back home.
Yes.
They're going to be good disc golfers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they were willing to do it
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah.
Kyle needs to buckle down on some stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan, it's
It just takes time.
it's the
though.
willingness of doing
The
things.
uncomfortable.
Like Dan and Kyle's both their biggest struggles, as with a lot of people's to X degree, is putting
Yeah.
and just letting it really affect them.
Yeah.
And like Kyle's putt comes out wobbly and whatever, but like he's more focused now. Like he's a better putter mentally than he was when I like first met him, where he didn't seem to care. Now he actually cares to a degree. And then Dan's putt is good, and he gets weirdly frustrated, which I get. Like I've been there where it's like I literally have no idea how to putt, but then outside looking in, it's like you know how to do it. It's just you're letting something affect you kind of too much, and also you have to trust your skill set. You have to trust this, that, and the other thing, and that you have to be okay with missing. Like, people miss.
Yeah.
Paul misses. You can watch it all day long if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
It's just there's not as much, like, whatever. You have to figure out what it is that you're doing and then put in the practice to actually hone in that skill, because how it looks, like, it's clean release and everything. And then he's complaining, well, when I use my legs, I tend to pull it really bad and this and that and whatever. But the running joke is like, you've got a disc golf basket like in the bed of your truck. Why don't you just like pull it out and go outside and putt
Right.
for 10 minutes or something? Like, even if it's just like, go to the spot where you're like, I know I can make at least 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then just putt that and then get comfortable. Like, I know forever ago, like Tiger Woods, he's like, I would go make like 100 5-foot putts or whatever, where it's like, it's just 5 feet, but also it's like, these are important.
Yeah.
Like, even though they're like dumb little putts, like, I'm never going to miss them because I always practice them. And kind of the same thought here. Anyways, like, they just need better practice.
Yeah.
Like, I know field work and whatever, but Dan for sure gets stuck on, I just want to throw really far and have all this stuff. And then he's also working on every problem in his form all at the same time.
Yes.
Instead of working on just one thing, where I think a lot of it relied heavily on his right foot being planted sideways at least, or more, to get the hips loaded. Now it's the gate closed. There's some picture. He was teaching a youth guy or a kid to hit, and he was like, just keep the right foot closed. This is like this gate. You're going to have this gate closed, and you're just going to bust through the gate. And it translates perfectly for disc golf. Like,
Yeah.
you're getting set up into the same position to do the same motion, and now just working on that. But yeah, they play a lot. Like,
Yeah.
even just themselves. Like, I'm in the group of 3, but they live next to each other, and they'll go play wherever.
Yeah.
So then yesterday, I always make the joke of like, this is just what's like, I make the bet and I don't care if you agree to it or not.
Yeah. You tried
like,
that with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's easier to talk Dan and Kyle into
Yeah.
it.
Like, once you get a lead, you're like, yeah, we bet holdings on this. I was like, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't bet lunch on this.
Yeah. I don't know. When all this stuff now is just funny. It's like, I kind of wish I had this mindset younger growing up, because I think this is the more competitive side of me randomly being a thing. But I told Dan, like, so we're playing for lunch today, right? He's like, yeah, I could get down on that. Sure, whatever. And I was like, all right, sweet.
So do you spot them strokes, or are you playing them straight up?
Oh, straight up. I don't give them strokes willingly.
Yeah.
Dan could have used some strokes
Dan
yesterday,
and Kyle,
maybe.
if you guys need an agent, hit me up. Hit me up. You guys should be getting strokes. I'll get you a better package.
I'm going to censor what you're saying
you
right
should be
now.
getting strokes.
Yeah. It's going to be weird because you're going to have no audio right here.
Ah.
Oh my God, that's crazy. But yeah, so we played for lunch, and Kyle's Kyle won't unless it's, I don't know, maybe he plays it a little smarter.
Yeah.
I want some strokes.
Yeah.
Dan's just like, let's get it.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, still my thinking is I'm not trying to just like only just get free lunch. I'm trying to get you in a mindset of play the game and stop practicing while you're playing, which I think is a lot of what he was doing yesterday. Like, I'm guilty of it too, where I'm trying to work on some stuff while doing that, but that takes away from the mental side of it of just playing the game.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'm playing the hole, versus like, well, I need to do A, B, C, D to hit this right and yada, yada, yada. And you're not really paying attention to where you're like throwing the disc or the angle that you're trying to hit it and where you're trying to go to. But I shot pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like, my drives were feeling really good.
Did you play both courses?
No, the other one's closed right now.
Oh,
they're
River's
doing
Edge.
construction.
Yeah.
And I don't know where or what's in the way, but they have all the hefty condom bags on all the baskets. They like staked off everything, so you literally can't play it even if you wanted to like cheat it. And which was a bummer because I haven't played that course in a while, and I really like that course.
Yeah, and this is a good time to play because the bugs aren't as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, whatever. We played the original one twice. and I shot 2 or 3 down the second round.
Course par?
I don't remember how he scored it.
Okay.
I don't know if it was course par or all threes or whatever.
I just
but,
shoot
like,
10 down. What
Yeah.
par did you use? I made one up. I killed it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's course
was a-
because I
It
didn't
was a
play-
perfect round.
No, because I didn't play well. I'm pretty sure it was course par we
Yeah.
did it by. But yeah, like both times I had a couple dumb sixes, and those were like the holes where I'm trying to work on my foot and keeping my grip on the disc where it needs to be, and then holding on to it basically for dear life versus just letting it go. Like there's a weird like 1 degree difference.
Yeah.
And that 1 degree helps a lot. Like when I had it right the first couple times, I pulled it right because I just wasn't expecting, like the release point becomes different then.
Yeah.
And it came out fast. It came out how it should. Like the disc flew just differently. And I was like, all right, that's sweet. And like, this is what I need to do. This is more easily repeatable than whatever it is that I'm doing before. And I don't know why I developed like just, I pull through and then I like let go. And it's like, no, you just hold on to it. And you just let it rip out. And that's exactly what I do when I throw putters. And I feel like I throw
Those are the
putters
good
really
ones.
well.
Yeah.
And then just translating that and just throw it like it's your putter, like just that grip and whatever. And I was able to hone that in a little bit yesterday. Things were the taxes that I paid were going OB, like it stayed too wide, throwing
Yeah.
a hyzer over the OB, or it turned over, or whatever it was. And then my putting was very good yesterday. Like it felt great. Release felt great. I had one potato hand for whatever reason it was.
Yeah.
I think it was just like I blacked out while I was putting. And I don't know. Overall, I was happy with it. And then learning how to do new grenades. Oh my God. It opened up so many shots.
Yeah.
Like playing out there. It was just funny because for sure before, it was like I wouldn't be able to clear this like old grenade grip or whatever. This one, it's like, yeah, this is easy.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Yeah. I found a tie-dye Firebird out there too. Super nice. Like a new run of stuff. I remember getting like new Firebirds from Innova, and it was like, this just feels like shit. And this feels like it's new.
Yeah.
But you look guilty.
No, I've had the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got this from them, and I was like, how did this get out of your factory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is like slightly gummy and super tacky, and there was like no ink or anything. So I was like, I don't really feel guilty. So
Right.
sweet. And I found it because I threw a shot that was so bad. Because it literally, as I'm pulling through, it's just like, just came right out of, like, I just opened it. It was like, we're done. Like, we're done. No, we're not. I'm like, nah, we're done. I was glad to get that disc back.
Did you make your hand jump up and fall on the ground?
No.
No.
I should have.
That's what you should do next time.
Yeah. Next time.
Now run the round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, overall, like I felt pretty good about it.
Yeah.
I think I shot, what was it? Dan was 12 over, and I think I was even the first round. Something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know. Then we went and got
On
Subway.
some par. Yeah.
We got Subway. The girl working at Subway,
Yeah.
I hope you have a better day than you did yesterday. She was very not having any sort of laughter. Like,
Yeah.
we're cracking up. We drove. There was a Subway right down the road. They closed because the refrigerator was down. Found another one. It was in a mire.
Yeah.
We're the only ones there. She's like, she comes out of the door just pissed for whatever reason. And then I'm sitting there just trying to get them to laugh. I'm just saying dumb shit. I don't remember what it is that I'm saying. We're eventually like in tears laughing, or at least I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Dad gets his sandwich all the way through. So if this is Dan's sandwich and it's like all done,
Yeah.
she puts the knife here and then cuts it right here.
Really?
Yeah, and then she cuts the little half in half too.
Like thirds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she grabbed the shittiest loaf of bread. So when it was done being toasted and it came out, I'm just thinking like, dude, I didn't say this because I thought if she heard me,
Yeah.
she would have like ninja starred the knife at me. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you're gonna need a spoon to fucking eat that sandwich. It's just falling apart, and she cut it in thirds.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. And then I get mine all the way through. Then she just cuts it in half, and I just start laughing. Like, Kyle knows what I'm talking about. Dan is fucking clueless.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm just trying to like keep it together.
Yeah.
And
Because
I don't
she's
want
on the
her.
edge.
Yeah.
She's on the edge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what was going on. So I got the combo. We both got some cookies, whatever. Go outside. We get approached by, if my mom was a different skin tone, I was just like, I had like this weird moment.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey guys, how's it going? She's obviously like asking for donations and things and whatever. And I had nothing. I was like, dude, I got like $1 or something. And then Dan hands her a 20. And I was like, all right. So he kind of covered all of us. And I was like, you want this cookie? It's just like, I don't know what else to do. Like, I literally don't have cash on me. I have $1 in the car, which you can gladly have.
Yeah.
But like, if we're doing this right now, all I got is a cookie.
Did you take the cookie?
Yeah, she took the cookie.
I would have taken the cookie too.
Oh my God. Yeah.
For
I
sure.
don't, it was just so funny. And it was, again, just one of those things where I just start laughing to myself. I don't really know why, but also it's just like
Yeah.
$20 in a cookie. Like, and then I start going, it's like, if somebody were to ask, like, how's your day going? It's like, dude, I killed it. Like, I asked these like 3 guys. One dude's like in tears laughing for, I don't know, like, I think he's
Special?
yeah, he's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, he gave me a cookie. Other dude gave me $20. I'm living it up.
Yeah.
I'm killing it.
What if you just paid for everything
Yeah.
with cookies?
Oh my God.
Right?
It'd be
Like you
great.
make an order from, like
yeah,
Prodigy or something.
I feel like there's some places where you could just do that.
Barter system. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. When I worked at Cruise, I did trades at BP all the time.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, those guys were cool.
Yeah, Travis would embrace it and get pissed at me
Yeah.
all at the same time, which I was just like, dude, this makes no fucking sense. And it was entirely like a control thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the boss. Ugh. Like, whatever. Yeah, still, fuck that guy.
I worked at a deli in a food court in a mall, and we used to trade stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got Karen'd there before Karening was a thing.
Really?
Oh.
Over
It's
what?
almost closed. So it's the mall. It's the mall. It's almost closing. Portage Mall. So Portage, just because it's next to Kalamazoo, like instantly, if you live in Portage, like you've made it.
Where's Portage at?
Right next to Kalamazoo.
Okay.
So Kalamazoo has some rough areas.
Okay.
And then it has Western, and then it has the student ghetto. And I think there's like a couple of nice parts of Kalamazoo, but for the most part, there aren't like. So for this area, let's say like Bloomfield Hills, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is not a Bloomfield Hills in Kalamazoo.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah. And there's not. I mean, I don't even know what the nicest part would be like, similar to out here, but there's not those. So then Portage is not Bloomfield Hills. Portage is like Troy.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's right next to Kalamazoo, the people in Portage are like, oh, I'm from Portage. And you're like, dude, it's fucking Portage. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
dude, you're from Portage.
Yeah. But so anyways, at the mall, you'd get the like Portage ladies or whatever, and they were Karens. I didn't know that, because it hadn't been diagnosed, but
Yeah.
Karens were a thing. So anyways, dude, it's about to close.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at the mall. I didn't need any money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had the money from horses. I
Yeah.
literally went there to like
Do stuff.
hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I rented a house across the street from my favorite bar. I was 100 yards away.
Oh my God.
So the house turned into debauchery. It was amazing. But
You don't say.
I would walk over to the bar, and then I ended up dating like the hot bartender from that bar, just living the life, having
Yeah.
parties at my house, whatever, drinking games till nudity,
Yeah.
and just killing it. So I was working at the mall just for like something to do.
Yeah.
And my buddy was the manager, so he was like, hey, if you want make you supervisor, you can do that. I was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. So anyways, you have like the knives you cut the sandwiches with, and then we have the trays that like you give the food to.
Mm-hmm.
So I had taken one of the trays and spun it on a knife.
Mm-hmm.
So I had it on the knife.
Yeah.
Then I took that knife and put it in my mouth.
Mm.
The people from Orange Julius were watching.
Yeah.
Which were 2 pretty good looking girls.
Yeah.
So I held the knife in my mouth that way, and then I spun the other tray on another knife, and then took that knife out of my mouth, and I had the 2 trays on 2 knives spinning.
Yeah.
Threw the one tray up in the air and caught it dead on the other tray,
Nah.
and they both spun on that knife. First try ever.
Oh fuck.
And you know me,
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah. So I like kick up the thing, drop the knife, catch the trays, put it down. Orange Julius erupts, and I was like, boom.
Yeah.
So there were, so there were two ladies in the deli at that point, but they were like over in the back corner. I didn't really think that they could see me, and it really never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I think I was drinking at work at this point, like almost on a daily basis. It was hilarious. So I would go to work and then go to the store because like my buddy was a manager, so I had the job.
Yeah.
So I didn't like dealing with customers. Like it wasn't my thing.
Okay.
So I would go to work in my OCD. I'm epic at certain things, right? Same thing, like kind of why I was good at Cruise Mirror. So I'd go to the store, I'd send one of the people that works there to the store, and we'd get like a fifth of like rum or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the only time in my life I ever drank rum. We'd drink Captain Silver and do like rum and cokes because we had the fountain machine, right?
Yeah, why not?
You're right there. You're all set.
Easy.
And then I would just clean the whole place. So I would tell my staff, like, you guys don't have to clean, but you have to nail everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be the guy that, like, when you work with me, you're only doing, like, the good part of the job, but you've got to totally fucking nail it. And in exchange for that, I'm not going to overmanage you. I'm not going to be over your shoulder. I'm not going to be whatever. Don't make me look bad, and make sure that everything's, like, done. You're really polite with the customers, whatever. So for them, it was, like, a total win.
Yeah.
Because I would get there, and then I'd literally like, clean, like, the whole fucking back, clean the whole front, and then we'd shut it down and get out of there.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, like, my girlfriend would come to visit me at work, and I'd bang her in the bathroom, and then, like, go back to work. It was epic.
Yeah.
So by the end of the workday, though, like, I'd be trashed. And then my girlfriend would, like, come and pick me up.
Yeah.
And, like, drive me home from the mall. It was so great. But anyways, yeah, so I had finished with the two trays, and I set it down, and then the ladies came over, and they were like, does Tom Murch still own this place? Because it's Murch's Deli. Does Tom Murch still own this place? And I was like, yeah. I don't think that he would approve of you, like, doing this stuff or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but you have to admit that was awesome.
Yeah.
And that was it, dude. They were like, you put a knife in your mouth and you use that to cut the sandwich. And I was like, it was just the handle. We're closing. These knives will not be used again.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, but while we're eating, we saw you do that. And then it makes us question whether you had done that earlier with the knives, and then those knives cut our sandwich, and all, like, it just went off the rails.
Wow.
So due to the fact that I had no Karen experience, and, like, I didn't even like dealing with customers in the first place.
Yeah. And then you get Karen.
I just started doubling down. I was like, I'm really, like, not doubling down, but just going the other way. And I was like, I'm really sorry. Momentary lapse of judgment. It's been a really long day. I've been here like and I just, like, started getting into nonsense, which wasn't true.
Yeah.
And I was just hoping that they don't know that I'm trashed.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've been here for like 4 days, like every day, and it was just a momentary lapse of judgment. I have tomorrow off, so I was just really excited. The whole back's clean, and I was just explaining to them, like, we're done.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like having a momentary celebration of the fact, whatever.
Did you not hear them all cheer for me?
That's what I want to say. I'd be like, they thought it was sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a free Orange Julius for this. But yeah, so I had to go see Tom Murch. They followed up, called, talked to the owner.
Really?
He had a chain. He had like 5 delis and a commissary, and I was like, yep. So I had to go in and talk to him.
Really?
Yep. And
was he impressed with what you did?
No, but I said it because it's the same thing. Like, I didn't need the job. It was just for fun. And I had told him, and he I think he said, like, I'm sure it was very impressive, but like, and I said, Tom, he goes, you've had nothing but like great reviews. He goes, Tom, who was my manager, Tom Boudry, fantastic human being.
Yeah.
He's like, he raves your things. And then every time we've had a peer review or a performance review on any of the people that work with you, they all just say, like, how hard you work and everything else. He's like, so I know this was a momentary blip. Nothing else like this is going to come up. Yada, yada. I was like, yeah. So like, I won't spin trays anymore or put anything in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
I won't do anything sweet again.
It's an easy fix. And that was my experience with Karening. But
that's great.
Yeah,
just
got roasted for it. So that girl was having a shit day. So you finished, and then you guys went back and played a second round.
Yep.
When you went back, did you just ceremoniously like run out to a hole?
No.
No, you didn't want to and then take a 7? You didn't do it? No.
No. I wasn't like, what's the farthest point at Birchfield that I could just run and then just start vigorously playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, immediately.
If you did it at Birchfield, you would do what that guy did in the press box. You'd run like all the way out there and then just black out on the ground, whether we've been working out or not.
Yeah. No, we played the CCR layout. That's what we were doing. So, because long to longs is just kind of brutal and just not the most fun layout of that course.
Did you throw over the wall?
The first round, yeah. So we did CCR layout the first round besides hole 2. We threw over the wall on 2 because Dan really wanted to. I think the hole's better that way.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if it was just long to short, would make it a good hole.
Yeah, it just slows down play. That's all, because people get juiced about it and then they leave it left or they turn it over into those trees and then it's just a slow hole.
That's from the longs can make it like an instant backup.
Yeah.
Like right there.
Yeah. And you're like, Girthy was putting back at this.
Yeah.
And Paul was like up into that gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the circle.
Yeah, like hilarious. And I can see it. Like I personally can see it. It's just being able to execute for sure. Like not that it's
an elite level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's just a really hard angle to hit. It's a really hard angle to hit and power.
Yes.
On that angle.
Yes.
And then having it work out.
And it's pretty blind.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's everything.
Yeah. It's nutty. But it's a sweet hole. Like I get the wall.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's just kind of there is like, I didn't really know where to put this Christmas ornament on the tree. So I just kind of threw it at it and just kind of stuck. Like, I don't know. It's strange to me.
Yeah. So I had come up with an idea. This is going to be a segue from that.
Sure.
I'd come up with an idea with Will if I won the lottery. Mm-hmm. What I would want to do.
Yeah.
So first thing, obviously, crazy, ridiculous mobile home, vinyl wrap.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I've had this talk, that exact start
so
with Scott. I don't know how many times.
That's the no-brainer, right? So I get that all set up. But then the other part of what I wanted to do is I wanted to, like, start a compound, and that was going to be Disc Golf Heaven was going to be the name of it. And now that it's committed to the internet, it's committed. So this date, today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's going to be Disc Golf Heaven. So Disc Golf Heaven was going to be Disc Golf Heaven. So it's going to be 2 courses. I can't remember the names of them. Fuck. But anyways, the 2 courses were going to be, like, they start kind of at the same point and you go. But there was going to be cabins kind of in the course.
Yeah.
Like along the middle of, like, the 2 courses as they start. So if you start here, then you have those. And in the middle, there's, like, a row of cabins, right? Where you can, like, drive down and they have, like, little parking. And then the 2 courses go off to the side. So you could sit there. There'll be, like, a net so the cabins don't get hit. But you could sit there and then watch. So, like, if you're staying there for the weekend, right, and then on the side, there'll be, like, a little hotel.
Yeah.
Basically. So, like, when we have big tournaments, something like that, we can put everybody up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or if we wanted to have pros come out and they wanted to do a clinic, they could, like, post about it, charge people X amount of money to come out. And then people could stay at the cabins. They could stay at the hotel. And then, like, let's say it was, like, Simon. Like, Simon's going to do a weekend. Mm-hmm. So you can go play rounds with Simon. Like, Simon's just going to be there for the weekend. So he'll do a clinic in the morning, play 2 rounds. Then you have dinner, like, in the hotel. There's, like, a banquet hall or whatever.
Yeah.
And do that. And I figured that'd be super sweet. And then the courses would be, like, 2 different style courses. But I wanted to do, like, a bunch of stuff. Like Cedar Point, when you go to the cowboy area there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to have, like, one of the courses like a Western theme and then one of the courses like a gladiator theme.
Yeah.
So as when I go to play that course and I see that wall, like, I'd like to build, like, you know, like a little, like, downtown area with storefronts and stuff like that you have to play through and do all that. And I figured, like, it would be super cool to have, like, not putt-esque, but, like, a giant, like, for real thing that you play through, like, these man-made, like, in addition to all the woods, like, there's, like, man-made areas and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's, to me, what it sounds like, I think of Halloween, and you have, like, in your neighbor, at least one of the many neighborhoods that I've lived in, you've always had the people that put together, like, something sweet. They decorate and whatever, and then you just go up, and there's a couple things you can interact with, and you go and grab your candy. And then you got the guys who are, like, they've either, I don't know, they're enthusiasts in set building or are previous set builders, and then create, like, a haunted house that is actually, like, badass and all this other interactable. Like, it's, I don't know. That's kind of how that sounds to me.
Yeah.
It's like, that'd be sick.
I think it'd be super cool. Like, just to throw it on, like, a Western street, maybe have, like, the animatronic, like, skeletons that shoot at you or something.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that would be, like, a super sweet idea. I like the idea of it as, like, a destination.
Yeah.
Like, you can take your vacation, stay there, and the cabins would be, like, not super big. I don't know if they'd be multi-room or if it'd just be like a loft setup, which is like one big open space.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like as people come out there and do clinics and stuff like that, obviously you get them like autographed posters and everything, and then put those all in the cabins. So you
Mhm.
could stay in like the, you know, Ken Climo cabin
Yeah.
or whatever.
And
it
for
is.
sure, like pro shop,
Yeah.
whole
Yeah, yeah.
clubhouse thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to heaven.
Yes.
Yeah. All that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, there was the two names for the courses, which I forget, were actually sweet. And then like the merchandising afterward from those two courses was like super fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of my idea, and I really liked the idea of you know, if you had it, and then set it up for charity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Set it up so that way, like once the bills are covered on that place, then you know everything else goes towards whatever it is. You know,
Right.
whatever the either something locally to support like the you know, like the people of the area or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I figured like if you did it sweet enough, you could get like a major there, and that'd be super cool.
Yeah, for
you know?
sure.
Yeah, that was the goal.
Yeah.
I don't
'Cause-
even play the lotto, but I still think maybe one day I'll win.
Yeah. Oh, it's always great to just fantasize
Mhm.
about that, what you would do.
I got Gabby on board and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for sure, again, like with Scott, it's just like get a crazy fancy RV, make it sweet as shit.
Yeah.
Have like whatever car you're towing with it, or cars, or you're towing another RV with your RV. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then just paying a dude like, hey, you want like $100,000 a year to like just drive this fucking thing? Like, sweet.
No, you
No.
just get somebody that like doesn't have their own sweet RV.
Yeah.
You make them go get a chauffeur's license, and you tell them you can travel with us
Yeah.
if you drive
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you
whatever.
save yourself the $100,000.
Yeah. Whatever.
You don't get any representation on the vinyl wrap though. None. Your name's not even going to be on there.
Hey, if you want to come over to Zach's RV, we'll put you
I'll
on
just
the
have my
RV.
arm will
Yeah.
be like a big part on the side with my number on it. Like fucking sweet.
Be so big.
It's so big. So big. Like the numbers on my bicep would be like 6 feet, you know, like 5 feet tall. It'd be great. Right across the side. Fucking awesome.
It'd be better than Ricky's. Like, I'm sure his setup's sweet, but his face that he's got on the side of his little RV thing
Yeah.
is just hysterical.
It's very Ricky.
Yeah.
Very Ricky. Yeah. Well, mine wouldn't, like part of his
Yeah.
is because it's through a sponsor.
Yeah. No.
Mine would
totally.
be through me. So I
Yeah.
could have me
You can
like
do whatever
crotch
you want.
chopping on
Yeah.
the side, like full Peter Weber. Just, yeah. It would be great.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
Oh my god.
I just don't know where I would do it because like I wouldn't do it here because I would really need it to be a 4-season event.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would have to be somewhere that's warm
Yeah.
because I wouldn't want to have to close it or like offer some.
You good?
I got a seed. I wouldn't want to offer some kind of like compromise like winter golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it'd be sweet to do. You know, like either farther south or west or whatever. But
Yeah.
I would really want like a nice wooded area, so it wouldn't be too far west.
Yeah.
And
I
no-
just want a course.
Yeah, it would be sweet.
How can we get some land?
Make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's got some land they want to sell us?
Yeah. I got some land. I got some swampland for you. See?
Yeah.
I'll set up a
Do
course there.
something.
All I gotta do is set up, you know, footing and ground and all that. I heard a thing on this is totally not disc golf related, but I heard a thing on Rogan when I was listening that they have a overpopulation problem with pythons in the Everglades,
Mhm.
and that they're consuming like so much of the natural animals because they're an invasive species. Because there isn't anything that really hunts pythons in the Everglades.
Mhm.
But they eat like all the raccoons and they've eaten all this other stuff. And so like the populations of those animals are so low that now they're starting to like eat alligators. And it came from like people just letting their pets go,
Really?
like just letting their pet pythons go. Like they got too big for their house or whatever. And they just like let them go into the swamp.
Yeah.
And then they've multiplied and nothing hunts them. And now you just have like
Yeah.
this giant army of like huge ass pythons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. I thought that was like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they killed. I don't know if they killed him, but I think they killed him. I think they killed like 5,000, and it didn't even really make a dent.
Yeah.
Like there's that many.
Yeah. The crazy one to me is cats in Australia.
Yeah.
That to me is nut. Like it's so strange because like I only think of like my cat. I love my cat.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She's basically just a dog
Yeah.
or whatever. It's so strange, but like That's all I think is like there's just a bunch of you, and then it's just your hunt like wild whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's strange.
Yeah, but they're apex predators.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
Oh yeah,
vicious.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the big version of my cat is I don't want to be anywhere near it.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if your cat weighed like 80 pounds,
Yeah.
you would want no part of that.
Yeah. What are the what's the in between? Because you have like house cat, and then you have like giant cat. What's the like the dog size version cat?
So there's a few. There's a
Yeah.
serval,
Yeah, that's
which
what I'm
is the
thinking of.
one that people get, which are like semi-domesticated.
Yeah.
And those are actually the cats that they hybrid with Savannah cats.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's Bengal cats and Savannah cats. One of them is a cat,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them is a hybrid cat of a serval and the other one.
Okay.
And those are really valuable.
Yeah.
But the servals are, you can get one for like $2,000, $2 or $3,000, and males get to be like 110, 115 pounds.
Yeah.
And they can jump 10 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
'Cause
they could jump onto a basketball hoop and stand there.
Yep.
Yeah. They have like their head looks kind of small for their body.
Yeah.
They've got like spots and stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're crazy looking.
They're good. I looked into getting one. I was going to get one like quite a while ago, and they cannot deal with a move.
Mm.
So whatever house you get them in, you need to stay there because they're fine and they're like they adapt to it and like they can be domesticated and like for the most part they're like really easy to work with.
Mm-hmm.
But if you move them and they get put into a new territory, it just fries them out. And they
Really?
become like really aggressive and hard to deal with and like all this other shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember them being like really high maintenance potentially or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they can have some intestine problems and stuff. And like, there's just not a lot of people that deal with it. So I would imagine it'd become like relatively expensive.
Yeah.
They
Out of all
also-
the places I've lived and friends that I've had, not one serval cat, big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is like you need room. Like
Yeah.
they couldn't live in my house.
Right.
And it's better if you can build them like a catio, which is like a little outdoor area pen, whatever, that they can go out and like be outside
Do
and
stuff.
do all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can take them for walks and all that shit. But watching the video of those, there's like a couple people that have servals that like they just constantly put videos up on. And like even an 80 pound, 85 pound serval, when you're looking at it, you're like, geez.
Yeah.
Like, man, that thing.
Yeah.
But then they have like bobcats and lynx and a couple other things that people have as like house pets, which are like bigger cats.
Yeah.
And you realize like
Yeah.
they're so athletic, they're so quick, and they have like just such honed skills for killing. that-
Yeah. And then it's going to be like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What do you want to do now, buddy? Where's the tough guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of when you were talking about like that guy screaming and yelling at the players and at the game.
Mhm.
Did you see the video of the lady getting tased for the face mask?
No.
So I think it's in Ohio. It's either Ohio or Florida or whatever.
Okay.
But there was a mom at like a high school football game or,
Yeah.
or a little kid football game or whatever. You can't see the game in the video,
Yeah.
but she's not wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to wear a mask.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a rent-a-cop or local police, but somebody comes up in a uniform and is like talking about wearing a mask. And she's like, I'm not going to wear a mask. And he's like, well, then you need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, I'm going to sit here and watch without a mask.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, the thing is you have to wear a mask if you're going to be here or you can leave. And she was like,
Yeah.
no. So then he's going to arrest her.
Yeah.
So she's fighting this cop. And then her friend is fighting the cop to prevent getting like handcuffed.
What?
Yeah. Like he's trying to put the cuff
What?
on and she's like pulling her
Yeah.
arm back and her friend's like trying to fight to get her hand free from the cop or
Yeah.
whatever it is. And she's pulling back. She's like, no. And she's like yelling and screaming at him or whatever. And like just going nuts. No.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Blah, blah, blah. And she's like pulling away and pulling away and pulling away. And they're just waiting. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know it's gonna come.
Yeah.
I just want to see it. I just want it
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like
Yeah.
she goes, "Ah!" She goes down. And then she's like, I can't believe you would do that. And I'm just waiting for him to
believe you've done this.
I'm just waiting for him to belly up and be like, where'd the tough guy go? Huh? Where's your friend now?
Yeah.
So anyways, he cuffs her. And then she's like, I can't believe this for a face mask. And then she turns. She's like yelling to people as he's like dragging her away. And then the other, like the second officer or whatever comes up. And then they like, walk out with her or whatever. It was just
Amazing.
Like, yeah. Meanwhile, your kid's playing a sport.
Yeah.
Like your kid's out there playing. And he looks up in the
Mom?
thing as you're getting tased. Because you don't want to wear a face mask.
The cop's dragging you out of here by your ankle.
Yeah. I thought the funniest comment on that was, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I thought that was good. I was like, yep.
Makes sense.
Get tased right in front of your kid because you don't want to wear a mask.
Yeah, perfect. Makes sense.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah. So you have Jonesboro coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to maybe watch Jonesboro yesterday instead of watching the USDGC just so I could get some idea of what you're going into and what you've got coming up.
That's what I'm going to start doing too, is I'm going to go rewatch last year's coverage.
Yeah.
And just kind of get an idea myself of what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And how I see other players playing the holes, breaking it down, and what I can just incorporate into that if it makes sense to me in my game plan or not. And I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me was the realization that it wasn't in Texas. I don't know why I thought it was in Texas.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not in Texas because that's a much longer drive. But yeah, it's still like a 12 and a half hour drive, I think it was.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for sure.
Do you know when you're going to leave yet?
No, but very soon.
Because today's Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like maybe tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
I got to figure out what's going on. There's a lot to do today.
Yeah.
It's going to be action packed. And I want to see if Amanda wants to go. She hasn't really given me an answer. So today's going to be like, hey, do you want to go or not or what? And then I can just go from there because it's pretty easy to just pack up and leave. Make sure you get everything. And what was it? Like you, when it's like Gabby's getting ready and you're just like, we're going to more civilization.
Right.
Like there's still just stuff.
Right.
Like if you forget whatever, you can just go get a more deodorant or whatever it is you need, food.
We brought so much food home from Houghton Lake.
Yeah.
And we ate the entire time we were there.
Yeah.
Like there's not a grocery store there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we might have to eat squirrels if we don't bring
Yeah.
enough kielbasa.
Oh
you know,
my
like
God.
no. There's actually going to be a grocery store right there.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
So you think you're going to leave probably tomorrow?
Yeah. Probably tomorrow or Wednesday. Like I know it's close or whatever, but
Yeah.
just trying to make some money to pay for things on the way there. Yeah, because I mean it's expensive, $250 to play, and then probably at least another $250 and just other stuff like gas and food and whatever. So yeah, and then I need to get. What's it? My sister's got the tent, and then I'm probably gonna look and see at Costco or something if they have some like not a mattress, but
Air mattress.
like camping pads,
Yeah, they
maybe
do.
air mattress or whatever. Yeah,
They do. I saw them when I was there
Okay.
last.
because I think Phil said he got whatever it was that he had in his van at Costco or something, which was like really sweet. Either way, there's some stuff to get today, editing today, workout today,
Yeah.
planning stuff today.
You can also
Yeah.
look into, because you're not backpacking, if you're going to do the tent, you can also look into a cot. So
Okay.
like a fold-out cot. You can get it like an Army surplus store. You can get it at a sporting goods store.
Mm-hmm.
They might have them at Costco,
Yeah.
but that's going to be more comfortable than the air mattress. The only thing is it's not as warm as the air mattress.
Yeah.
Because air can get underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on like your sleeping bag or whatever you're going to do. So if
Right.
you have a good sleeping bag, I would suggest getting the cot.
Yeah.
Because you're going to obviously be rough on your body during the day, and you want to do everything you can to sleep as well as you can at night.
Right. Yeah, because I think at some point I'll need to upgrade tent to like something big and
Yeah.
extravagant, like Jake's. I remember camping in Flip City with Jake, and he had like a 8-person tent. 6 to
Turner?
8. Yeah.
Yeah, he just got
Yeah.
engaged.
Yeah, I saw-
Congratulations, Jake.
Congratulations, bud.
Yeah, way to go, buddy.
Nailed it. But yeah, it was one of the biggest tents, probably the biggest tent I've ever like.
Did it
been
have
in
the
and
big
set up and
aluminum
whatever.
poles,
I think so.
or was it still a like bendy pole?
No, I think it was the big
like,
aluminum
yeah,
poles.
that's
And
when you
everything.
know
It took us a while to
Yeah.
get set up. And I remember it was like, dude, this is sweet because it's like a little house that you get to build and take wherever. Or what? And
Yeah,
and it was just funny too because it was like overkill kind of.
Yeah.
But either way, like still really sweet. Like if you can set this up wherever every time, I mean, why not? You
Yeah.
have all this extra room.
yeah,
Versus like in a 1-person tent that's meant for, I feel like I just set up, sleep in it, wake up, take it down, take
Right.
it with me. Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's a difference between like
Yeah.
backpacking and even like some camping versus like pulling your car up, taking your stuff out of the car, and you're there.
Yeah. Totally.
Like when you have that tent that you have to grunt to get it out of your car, like that's all that tent is good for.
Yeah.
Because your tent is like 6 feet from where you brought your car.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going on. See if I'll get like another reality check of like, we don't really got stuff like this in Michigan, kind of like.
Yeah.
We do, but it's pretty few and far between, I think, just from where we're at, because playing not Hudson, Birchfield was a lot of like, I wish this place was just closer.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to force you to get good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like playing like the casuals that play at Firefighters and they go play Birchfield, like unless they...
Dude, Firefighters was packed.
Was it?
Dude, it was like 7 o'clock when I got there.
Uh-huh.
Maybe a little bit before 7. It was packed.
Yeah.
Dude, I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this place has gotten busy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised it's Firefighter, like no matter what. The thing that surprises me is Stony.
Yeah.
Because that's a pay to play. And there's still like millions of people. Not really millions, but like there's a shitload of people that go
So
there.
I didn't get that for a long time either, but as I've like made friends more in that area, like Gabby's from Romeo, and then like the friends I made that like grew up in and lived in Rochester, both from the restaurant and from the dealership, like Stony is a central part of that life.
Yeah.
Like those people go to Stony for fucking everything.
Yeah.
Like 4th of July, they're going to Stony. Labor Day, Memorial Day, like Stony's got shit going on. They golf, like ball golf at Stony. Like,
yeah.
So it makes sense after a while to me that like, yeah, we're going to disc golf. Well, let's go to Stony.
Yeah.
Because they're kayaking at Stony. They're riding bikes at Stony. They're rollerblading at Stony.
A lot revolves around Stony.
Yeah, Stony is like such a central part of that community that then it makes sense of like, oh, okay. And for the most part, those people, like the pay to play is a non-issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. And that's kind of like what you were talking about is one of the things that I get at, mentally at least, when people bring up like Michigan courses. Like you've brought it up on the podcast a couple times. I just don't really get into it. But like if you took the totality of the state of Michigan, you could probably find 4 super badass courses.
Yeah.
You know, that are amazing.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of courses in this area specifically that are old.
Yeah.
And that got set up a long time ago before people were throwing 600 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And what was difficult back then isn't difficult now.
Right.
And then the putting in new courses and whatever. But I think there's a bunch of courses in the state of Michigan that are like demanding and difficult.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Yeah, no,
right
not
here.
that we don't have any.
Yeah.
It's just the few and far. Like you have to travel for it for sure. And again, like Birchfield was just like, I wish this was just for the sense of like being able to practice and play this a lot and whatever. Because even if you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling like going all out, and then you just play short, whatever. And it's one of the few courses that has multiple pin locations, and both are in all time on both courses. So you're if you want to play short, you're not like, well, if it's in the short position, cool, but it's not. It's like they're there.
Right.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
Couple sweet, typical chain outs from myself, Dan, and Kyle.
Yeah.
Really brought me back to like Hudson Mills memories of like playing on Mach 2s, like. Did you even try to like stay in, or you just gave up, or what?
Oh, fuck this. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so great.
I like those courses. I like Birchfield. It's not a big Stony. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did somebody tell you it was a big?
Yeah,
Stony?
I told you that. Turner and Will did.
Oh,
when we went out to that tournament, and I played it blind.
Yeah.
After I played River's Edge, and then when I went to go play Renegades Trail, they were like, oh, it's basically just a big Stony. You'll be fine. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I went to bed, and then I played it in the morning. I took my quadruple circle 10, and I was like, this is nothing like a big Stony. Like these
Where did you take the quadruple circle 10?
The long one, but it was like fairway or OB, because it was like, I don't know if it was the first tournament that Wes had done or what it was, but it was a C tier.
Wes Shinovar?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that thing was set up like for the World Championships.
Yeah.
Like those fairways, like benefit of the fairway went on both sides to the other hole.
Okay.
So that big long one was really like almost like fairway or OB.
Gotcha.
And I'd never thrown it before. So off the tee, I was like, oh, okay. I threw it short because I was like, I was going to throw it to there and then play up to there because I don't know what it is. And where I landed short was right where I was trying. It turns out that was OB.
Oh, nice.
So I at least should have walked it to know where like OB was.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah, I took a quadruple circle 10 there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was mine.
Is that your worst score ever?
Yeah, on a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
in anything that I kept score for. Yeah, it was 4 consecutive OB shots.
Nice.
Yeah, it was drive OB, second shot OB, third shot OB, fourth shot OB, fifth shot forehand Firebird right up by the bucket, made the putt.
Nailed it.
10.
Nice.
Got it.
Tapped it for 10.
Yeah. It was a 10 save. Not really,
Ooh.
but it sounds
I mean,
sounds better like it did something
perspective.
sweet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Things, words.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
So so I talked to Will about the USDGC, and he said that it's Wednesday to Saturday. We misspoke.
Okay.
So we're about confronting our errors. I misspoke. I thought it was Thursday to Sunday. It's Wednesday through Saturday, which makes it even goofier then.
Yeah.
Because the live stream is all during the day.
Yeah.
Except for Saturday when you're not working. But you do also get the live stream coverage of the women's, because you explained to me like the package. So you get the live stream of the women's, and then you have access to those live streams for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, if you are at work, you can watch them when you get home.
Yeah.
He said the issue is, he's watching live scoring all day. So then like the idea of watching the live stream when he gets home is a little wacky because he already knows like what happened. Or people post.
Sounds like his own problem.
Yeah. Or people post about, like sweet shit that happens or whatever. And I would just be like, well, if I paid the $20, I just would shut down my interaction with that stuff for the day.
Yeah.
And then go home and watch it. And then, whatever. But I was more like, I would just like it better if they had a second card.
Yeah. I'm usually like, something big's going on. Well, it's probably just going to be on social media. So if I don't like, I'm not going to be mad that somebody posted on Facebook a spoiler because it's like, it's going to just happen. It's happened every fucking time. Are you surprised that somebody posted on there something that happened in relation to it?
Yeah.
And like,
I don't think he was upset about it. He was just saying that it kind of takes away the need or his desire to pay the $20.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to be updated with anything sweet that happens anyways.
Yeah.
So then it would take away even more, like, to pay the $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always been in the mindset of, I don't know, if somebody spoiled a movie for me or whatever, it doesn't really make that much of a difference to me because it's still like, well, I don't know how it plays out. Unless you told me like the whole thing, like how everything happened all the way through, then it's like, all right, I see it. But it's like, this is what happens at the end. And then it's like, all right, well, there's still this whole chunk of like getting there. So I don't know how you get there. I don't know if that's a weird thing that my brain does or it's just a weird thing in general. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't spoil it for me if you were wondering.
I was very concerned about it. How is this going to work for Zach? Let me take a break. I got to pee.
Pee break, everybody.
We'll be back.
Oh my god.
Where are we at in time?
We're at an hour and a half.
Dude, that wasp is so sick.
Yeah. Was it a good pee break?
It was fantastic.
Nice.
It's about as good as they get.
Nice.
I feel the relief. I feel better.
I think, let me pull this up. I was looking at random questions, disc golf related, and I just thought they were funny. Like, which one of the discs is considered a putter? You have Firebird, Eagle, X-Clone, Rhino.
Really?
Which one is it, Darren?
Rhino.
Oh, nice. Good job.
Yeah.
Is it proper to yell and scream and throw things in anger during a disc golf game?
Ooh, a game?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay.
I love when people say like, we got drinks before we went out to golf,
Yeah.
like at the country club.
Yeah.
Like they all got roadies, so they got like gin and tonics.
Yeah.
Because you're at the country club. That's what
Yeah.
you do. They did not have Red Bull or any energy drink. I felt like I was underrepresented. I'm sure there's a lot of underrepresented people at the country club, but whatever.
Yeah.
It was about me. So I had to get Mountain Dew. So I just felt super trashy.
Yeah.
I was like, we're getting fucked up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
At least I golfed well. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Because I wasn't like, dude, Gabby's boyfriend, he drinks Mountain Dew and golfs like shit. But
Yeah.
fiance, whatever. Yeah, but as we were getting ready to go out, they're like, well, have a good game. I remember just thinking like, I will. It's going to be a great game out there.
Yeah.
Played a game of golf today.
The fuck you just say to me?
Yeah.
This one I found especially funny. About how much money did the top winner receive in 2001? $25,000.
Wait, top winner for the year or for a tournament or for what?
About how much money did the top money winner
Oh, top money winner.
receive in 2001?
Okay.
$25,000,
Okay.
$66,000,
Okay.
$100,000,
Okay.
or $3 million.
Whoa.
I know.
2001.
Yeah.
I'm going to say $25,000.
Why won't you just show me what it is? Oh my God.
Because let's
Submit my answers.
So let's say you.
Wait, hold on. Okay, hold
Okay.
on. What did you say? 66?
25.
25. That was my guess too. We're just going to go through all these and submit our answers and see what we get.
Because I would think like USDGC is what, 10? And then Worlds used to be 5.
Which is always great.
And then I always thought it was great because you
Yeah.
want a used shitty car.
Yep.
That's what you want
For being the best in the world.
for being the
And
world
then you
champion.
have like another prestigious event that I would say is second to Worlds or only to Worlds. And you get like double.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. When was disc golf formalized? When they started building public courses and forming associations? 80s, 30s, 50s, or the 70s?
Formalized, I would say 70s.
All right. 70s it is. What is the name of the organization that makes the tournament rules for disc golf and also promotes the sport?
PDGA.
Nice. You didn't even need multiple choice for that.
God,
Wow,
I'm on
dude.
fire.
If there isn't a course in your area, can you still play disc golf? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Which state of the USA had the most disc golf courses per capita at the end of the 1990s? You got California, Alaska, Texas, and Iowa. I'm going to say California.
Per capita, though.
I don't know.
So it's either I would say it's either Texas or California. I'll go with California, too.
Okay. All right.
Fuck it.
California. Why not? Is it property? No. Rhino. When playing by tournament rules, what score is par? 3, 2, 4. Or it depends on the length of the hole.
F. None of the above.
I don't know. I feel like they randomly put it as it depends on the length of the hole, which is like kind of true.
yeah.
Like it's part of it.
Yeah. I think the question that we had before gotten into of like when is your disc no longer your disc would be like the best question on there.
Yeah.
When you get in your car after you walk away from the hole, as
Yeah.
soon as you let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was the first permanent pole hole in-ground baskets attached to a pole golf course in the world? And they have Oak Grove, California, Pasadena, California.
Oak Grove, California.
Yeah. Delhi, India is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the USA, what months are the competition disc golf courses open? November through January, August through February, April through October on even numbered months.
Really? Okay. So I would imagine you're around, but if you're around isn't an answer, I would say the whatever April through October.
Sure. Submit my answers. Ooh.
What?
All right. When was disc golf formalized? It was the 1970s.
Yes.
Name of the organization, obviously, PDGA.
Yep.
If there isn't a course in the area, you still can play disc golf.
Thank you for that
Nice.
permission. I appreciate it.
Which state of the USA had the most disc golf courses per capita at the end of the 90s?
Yeah.
You thought California or Texas.
Yeah.
I thought California.
Yeah.
It's Iowa.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because they have like 80 people that live there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because California is
Yeah.
going to have like so many. And that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. Texas is the same thing. They have a huge population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it proper to yell and scream and throw things in anger during disc golf? No, it's not.
Okay.
Okay. So please stop, all you angry people.
Yeah.
Which one of these discs is considered a putter? It is a Rhino. Oh, I love the soft Rhino. I used a Piranha for years and then an AVR for a short time before I fell in love with the Rhino. I don't know who did this, but
Yeah.
well, that's what they had to say. Not me. When playing by tournament rules, what score is par? We answered, it depends on the length of the hole. The correct answer was 3.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. All right.
In a tournament, all holes are played par 3. Most serious golfers play all holes at par 3 no matter what is suggested at the tee.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving on, because
Yeah.
sure. About how much money did the top money winner receive in 2001? It was 25 grand. It was Cam Todd. It is a fraction of the ball golfer's prize money. Yeah. Like a
fraction?
Like a 30th? Like,
Hold on.
yeah.
So let's just say, well, what would it be? Well, now it would be more, right, for the year. But who would be top?
Yeah.
Let's just do this. So top prize winner for 2019 is going to be what, Paul?
Mm-hmm. I would imagine.
You'd imagine,
Yeah.
right? He'll at least be close.
Yeah.
So let's look. Come on, buddy. What's his last name? Macbeth? Yeah. Okay. Dude, there's so much stuff on him, I can't even get to him. Stop. Okay. So 2019, we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. His earnings were 57,000.
Of 2019.
Yeah, for prize money winnings.
Okay.
57,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Let's do this. Just to find out the fraction.
Yeah.
57,000, right?
Who would be top money earner?
Well, if you win the tour championship, I think it was $10 million.
Okay.
But I think they may have upped it to $15 million for first place.
Okay.
So 57,000. But we're going to look.
I mean, 57,000 is a fraction of.
Everything's a fraction. I'm looking for top earner. So I put in top earner, and then I'm going to put golf,
Yeah.
2019. The one that comes up, top earner, OnlyFans. I bet you they made more than the golf guys do.
Like, I feel like the caddies make way more just being caddies for, like, Ricky Fowler and Spieth and whatever.
This is so stupid because they have.
Oh. I probably didn't need to move the mic.
What do you stop, dude? That's so gross. Aren't you supposed to be killing dead air while I'm looking this up
I was.
with mouth noises?
Where was the first? Sorry. Where was the first permanent pole hole golf course in the world?
Yeah.
We were kind of right. we put Oak Grove, California. The name of the course is Oak Grove, which is in Pasadena, California.
Oh, shit.
I know. And then what months are open for competition? It is April through October. If you're brave enough to go golfing in a foot of snow for practice, then go for it, he says. We scored 7 out of 10. We scored 105 points. The average score for this quiz is 6 out of 10.
This is so stupid.
What?
Because you can't get to like prize. I can't get to prize money. I'm
For
not,
traditional
I'm not going to spend
golf?
that. Yeah, it's like top earner Tiger Woods because he got 42 million in endorsements.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I go to top earner for prize money. It just accesses who won the FedEx Cup, which is Rory McIlroy. So he won $15 million at that tournament last year.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go through like the whole year. And like obviously I'm not super good at this, but
Yeah. I mean, you could just even 15 million for
all right. So
one
let's do
tournament
one
last
tournament. So I'm going to do 57,200 and whatever he did. Let's say it's $87
year.
divided by 15 million. Turns out it is a fraction.
Oh, shit. Plot twist.
It's just over 1/3 of 1%. Yes.
So it is a fraction. Nice.
Yeah, it's a fraction.
Nice.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Guy who did the
It's 1/300th.
Mm.
1/300th of the money.
Is 1/300th a fraction?
Absolutely is.
Nice.
Yes. It absolutely is.
Oh man.
So I wonder like let's look into the crystal ball
Okay.
or the Crystal Flex Challenger. Right?
Looking to
Let's access the Pete Weber. So at what point, how far away are we? And this is something that I actually care about. So how far away are we from collegiate sport disc golf? How far away are we from prize money you could support yourself with disc golf?
I don't know. Like I'm not sure what needs to happen or if it's going to happen or what do you need to make to be able to support yourself? Like what number is that? Because that number is like the baseline and then beyond is obviously just more expendable money.
So I'm going to say 100 grand.
Okay.
Because of just what you're talking about. I need to go to Jonesboro, so it's going to be 250 and 250 and lodging and blah, 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 and yada, yada.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I was, like, say, like, my winnings, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
tournament cost me $70.
Yeah.
Play at a B tier. Cost me $70. To go out and play the course during the week, gas there, gas back, snacks,
Mm-hmm.
right? That cost me
Hydration.
Right.
Yeah.
That cost me $70.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, for a $70 tournament, it's going to cost me not paying myself anything for my time. It's going to cost me $150.
Yeah.
Second prize is $100, right? Like when I
Yeah.
played Cass, like I got second, it was $100.
Yeah.
So I won $100.
Yeah.
But I ended up losing money
Right.
as a whole if you look at it.
Yeah. Still down $50.
Right. So even when you do the bigger ones, if you do it like, okay, so it's $250 to play, but you're traveling states to get there and you're lodging for 4 days.
Yeah.
And you're doing all that, like, what are you making? Like, you know what I mean? Like your overall expenses. So I would say like 100 grand in prize money would relate to like actually a livable income that you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. But that prize money being livable income, you probably would have enough endorsements to have like a comfortable living.
Mm-hmm.
And this is without having like some crazy YouTube channel or something. I'm talking about just competition performance. You'd probably have like a comfortable living.
Right.
Right. So I would think like get to 100,000 for prize money. So ideally that would be more than one human being, right?
Yeah.
Like ideally, hopefully like
Yeah,
the top
it's not,
10.
Yeah, it's not just that because it's what, like if you were able to say or ask somebody who's a golfer and it's like, wow, you're really good and whatever. Like, are you like ranked in the world? And you're like, yeah, I'm ranked like in the top 50 or whatever.
Yeah. they're still making
That's
a
usually-
comfortable living.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I think you would still be like, holy shit. As to where if you're like top 50 in disc golf, I don't think it would be as impressive. And even still, it's like, if you were the dude who's 50th in the world, like, what are they making in disc golf?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. There's a huge gap.
Yeah.
Like, gigantic, tremendous, as some would
Tremendous.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, but golf has been a giant. So this year, the only PGA Tour money list for some reason on here is just the U.S. Open,
Nice.
which I don't understand, but that's okay.
I don't know. Tubes.
Yeah,
The internet's just a bunch of tubes.
here we go. 2018, 2019 PGA Golf money list. We value our privacy. I agree. Just give me the shit.
Yeah.
Give me the shit. Track where I go.
Give me the fix.
Now there's chicks in bikinis.
Mm.
I just want to see how much money people made in fucking golf. I don't care about girls in bikinis.
No?
No.
I care about girls in bikinis.
All right. So last year, all season long, Rory won $22.7 million,
It's amazing.
which is $9.5 million more than second place. So second place was $13 million.
Dang.
So that's second place. But I wonder, like, all right, here we go. We're going down. How far can we go down before? All right, there. So 20th place is 4.3 million. Oh wait, we're still way over that.
Ooh.
So they have agents and stuff. I don't know how much all this money actually makes it to their pocket. At that point, you're also paying really high taxes, but there's worse problems in life to have.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm at 101,
Okay.
the 101st prize money.
Yeah, you're top 100.
You're out of the top 100.
Out of the top 100.
Almost
Whatever.
1.2 million. Okay. Here we go. So the first guy under $1 million is 121.
Nice.
The 121st golfer, ball golf, traditional golf,
Yeah.
made $996,365.
Nice.
How far does this list go down?
Ooh.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
It just goes to 150.
so what's 150th?
The 150th made $667,792.
Yeah, that sounds about 150th place
150. Yep.
for money earned.
Yep.
Smacking a ball.
Yep. So obviously it's a much bigger industry. Obviously it's a much bigger sport.
Yeah.
And people care a lot more about it because it's been around for hundreds of years.
Right.
Disc golf, even if you go back to like the shadiest origins, has been around for like 40 years.
Yeah.
I think, like, I just watched a video on Scott Stokely saying the 3 most important things to a good forehand.
Mm-hmm.
Great video.
Yeah.
Great video. I watched it. It was great. I was like, I fucking love Scott Stokely.
Yeah.
And I think he accesses the sport at like 44 years old,
Mm-hmm.
44 or 46 years old or something, from like the first course being put in or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we're still 150 years, 200 years behind golf.
Yeah.
Golf.
Gaff.
Yeah. And then also like golf is big money, you know, like all the golf equipment and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like my setup for golf is like $2,000. You know, like my irons, my woods, my bag. That's I don't know if that's including the rangefinder or not.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like $2,000. So it's a big difference between that and disc golf.
Right.
The other thing is like a dozen balls. Like if you're actually using like top level balls, it's over $20.
Right.
If you buy them at the course, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid. You can pay $18 for 3 balls.
Nice.
Yeah.
That seems excessive.
Yeah. So I'm on a hot streak. The last 2 rounds of ball golf I've played, I have the same ball.
Nice.
I fished it out of that little pond
Did
because
you?
it literally just dribbled in,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to seem homeless, but I didn't want to lose the ball just so I could say that I didn't lose the ball.
Yeah.
So for the last 27 holes I've played, I've used the same ball.
Nice. Seems like a hot
Does
streak.
that make me a big deal? Maybe.
I don't know. I'm
They-
not gonna say.
They weren't super heavily wooded.
Yeah. Whatever.
But
yeah, you
whatever.
still tried losing it
Yeah,
in a pond that
I hit into that pond.
wasn't in play.
Yeah, I brought it into play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would it be? Like, so legitimate. Let's say we're 45 years in. Just round up or down, whatever it is, because we don't know. We'll round it to the closest 5. 45. Yeah. So we're 45 years in. How far out do you think we are from 10 people, the top 10 people, making over $100,000 in prize money?
I don't, because it could be like within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Or it could just be within the next 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, how long does disc golf need to curate to develop a scene of, like, the scene that you need for it to be engaged enough by the people or the companies and all of it. Like, I think that we can get there faster if for some reason everything gravitated towards it. Like, if everything needed to reach here, well, you could walk there and that's going to take longer, or you could like run there. So like, if everything in this mixing pot needed to be here, and then once this happens, then like full on living, like I'm a pro disc golfer and that's all I do.
Right.
And I make like good money, and good money is $100,000 a year. And I do that.
Right.
What it would take, I mean, personally, I think a lot of investment could be done in, and I forget if you and I just talked about this or if we talked about it on the podcast, I don't remember. But having companies invest into their players and having it be more like, I mean, it takes money to make money. So if you're investing your money into players and giving them the opportunity to go and play, really you're investing in yourself, which is, to me, what I think more of a full sponsorship would be, because you're paying them to represent you, and then just by giving them what like they want to go play full time, you're trying to make your brand the more reputable one, the bigger one, the whatever your end goal is. You're investing in yourself essentially. So give that guy the opportunity to get your name out there. So maybe, like, I know Macbeth got picked up young. I know Feldberg was a part of it, that he was like, I'm not sure if he's going to be good one day. And somebody was like, this kid's just good and whatever. And obviously he is a very good player, very consistent, all the way up to the point of like, is he the best of all time, or is Climo the best of all time, or whatever? And
so I would think, like, when you brought this up before, I've thought about it.
mm-hmm.
So in that situation, what if it was a 10-year contract? Because my issue is I'm Larry's Plastic, right? And like I finally found my last name for Larry. Bateman. That's my new full.
Larry Bateman. You're going to do Jason Bateman like that?
Jason. No, I'm going to do Patrick Bateman's cousin, Larry Bateman. Patrick Bateman being the lead character in American Psycho, who I love.
Okay.
So I'm going to be Larry Bateman. I finally found Larry's last name.
Okay.
Anyways, so Larry Plastic is like, all right, I see this kid, Larry Thrower, right? And like, we're going to sponsor this guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pay for him to tour, right? I'm going to pay to get him up and going. I'm going to give him the discs that he needs. I'm going to do all that. And like, let's just call this like the cradling sponsorship. Like, I'm just going to cradle this kid into a Viking, right? Yeah. I'm going to go through this process to get there. So on my end, I'm going to give you a 10-year contract with minimums that you have to hit, right? Like, if you're not fulfilling your end of the contract, I'm out.
Right.
Right. I don't know what the maximums would be that then you would get something more, but I would need to get you on a 10-year contract.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this, thinking that if I'm putting in this money, obviously for 3 or 4 years, you're going to be like maybe making a coverage, maybe not. Maybe you're just touring around locally, getting your chops together, getting all that stuff. And then maybe like the last 5 years of that tournament, like you're actually on coverage, or the last 5 years of that contract, you're actually on coverage and doing all this stuff and whatever. But I at least have the guarantee that like you're in this.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people would do that. I don't know how many people would sign up for that. And then what does that say about that company when that 10-year contract ends and then that person leaves? Then does it just come off in public opinion that, well, I just stayed with them because I had to, but now that I have the chance to like use better discs, I'm going to go do that. And then that 10-year contract for that company actually comes off kind of shitty.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you do it in terms of like long-term payoff, but like if you were going to pay someone to help them like become a legit top-level disc golfer, it would have to be like a 10-year contract.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just throwing fucking money away.
Mm-hmm.
And what if they get hurt?
Yeah.
Is it out? You're just out because you can't reach the levels of the contract. And then if you're out of that contract, is there some time that you can't sign another contract? Because
Mm-hmm.
what if you just faked an injury for 6 months so you could be done with Larry Plastic and go sign with Innova?
Right.
Like once you really started getting good, then you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
hamstring, right?
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, I can't play for 6 months, just avoid that contract, and then went and played with Innova.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. There's a lot of risk on the manufacturer side on that.
Yeah.
There would be some risk on the player side. It depends on how binding that contract was. Of like, you all of a sudden become fucking dope,
Yeah.
and your contract is just paying for you to go play,
Mm-hmm.
where you could be making, a bunch of money on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think there's opportunity to just like try. I mean, just trying things and seeing what works. But I think, I mean, I can't speak for disc golf companies and what their goal is to do. If it's just to sell stuff to people who scalp and then resell it for X amount of dollars, and then they're just making their money because they will always have people buy out their shit. Or do they really want to actually grow the sport? I mean, I think there's more opportunity to make more money if you were to help grow the sport. So if growing it is getting more people involved and a bigger, more in-depth community, that you, instead of being like, maybe, I don't know how much they profit a year, but if you profit like $1 million or $2 million, whatever it is, every year, versus, well, if the disc golf community was this big and this involved and all this was going on and tournaments were sponsored and we could sponsor whatever, and this ultimately brings us that 50% more.
Yeah.
Well, would you want an extra 500,000 or not? Like,
Yeah.
I think most would be like, yeah, I don't know what their goal is, but if it is to make money, sure, fine. But do you always want to make the same amount of money, or do you want to like make more money, and how to do that?
Yeah, but I don't know if necessarily like more sponsored people equals more disc golfers equals more sales.
Right. And I'm not saying for companies to sponsor 100 people.
Right.
Like having companies where you just can get sponsored just because, versus if somebody's sponsored by someone else where it's known, like it's hard to get sponsored by those guys.
Yeah.
But when you get sponsored by those guys, they like take care of you. So there's an incentive of, well, what do I need to get sponsored by you? Like, what do I need to hit? What do I need to achieve? What do I need to strive for to get sponsored by you?
Yeah.
And then their thing is if you want to get sponsored by us, you have to meet X, Y, Z, A, B, C, or whatever. But if you do that and we sponsor you, we pay for all your tournament fees. You have to play X amount of whatever tiers, and then at least worlds or whatever it is. But we pay for it.
Yeah.
So you have the ability to do it if you want to. So really the only thing is that's stopping you is you, or if like you get injured or whatever, legitimately, not like I'm just like playing coy about it. That it's not going to like void your contract. Like if you're legitimately hurt, we'll take care of you because we want you to be like at your peak and whatever.
Right.
So if you need on top of it, maybe it, or, would be like health coverage, because again, that player is an investment for you. So if you're getting like, if you're serious about it and you're trying to get sponsored by that, like you're trying to take it as far as you can, versus you get sponsored by Larry's whatever,
Hey,
and
Larry's
it's
a
really
good guy.
just whatever.
Yeah.
It's being sponsored by Up in the Air.
Yeah.
Like at first I was like, oh, a sponsorship. And I'm like, no idea. And then realized like, this really isn't like anything. Like it's nothing at all, to like the most truest form of nothing. There's no real incentive. Like if you were saying you were sponsored by Innova versus being sponsored by Up in the Air, well, one sounds a little more prestigious than the other, because it's like, well, anybody can get sponsored by Up in the Air. You just have to be alive and throw a disc at least once in your life, and then you're good.
Yeah.
Versus Innova, you have to be 1,000 rated. You have to play X amount of tournaments a year, have this much earnings. Not saying that that is how they sponsor, but
Right.
if that were, that I think creating the incentive of being a sponsored professional, at least part of maybe generating a not so shallow sponsorship community or whatever it is having standards, like not like crazy steep standards, but something that you would expect from somebody who's invested in the game, who's wanting to get better, who's
Yeah, but do they have that already?
I don't know.
Like, I think to get on like team, what I don't know the different levels of teams, and I don't spend that much time looking into sponsorships, but I think like in order to actually get on like legit Team Discraft,
Right,
you have to be over 1,000 sponsor. You have to be over 1,000 rated and X, Y, and Z. They have other stuff that like does that.
But like, I don't know if like I'm friends with some of the people on a handful of different companies or whatever, but I don't think that it doesn't seem like they're, not that they're not well taken care of, but it's like they're still taking money out of their pocket to go do the things that they're trying to do versus
Yeah, but I think it comes down to the size of the sport at this point.
well, right.
Like each company only has.
Yeah, and I'm not saying for them to do all this, like, oh, you're going to invest and pay for medical bills and all your tournaments and all your lodging and whatever, and that's just going to grow the sport. I'm saying that maybe if they get more involved in the community and then down the road, this then becomes a thing where it's more prestigious to be sponsored by X, Y, and Z. Because now, like, I remember back in the days of playing with Jared, like if you were just a sponsored player, it seemed way more prestigious than now. It's like, dude, everybody's sponsored by everybody. Like, not shitting on local teams and whatever. You have your, like, you're doing your part in growing the sport, but having like team, like your random generic teams of just like your group of people. I don't want to throw names out there because again, I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but also there's maybe like tiered things. So if you're tiered or if you're sponsored by like your local club or whatever, sweet. But then when you're sponsored by big people, it means something, where there's more of a seriousness. I don't know, where I'm like trying to figure out while I'm explaining how this can grow more. But I one of the bigger things is I don't know why companies like Latitude, Innova, Discraft, Castaplast, whoever, Dynamic Disc, I mean, they all seem to be doing really well still, like especially like Dynamic. I mean, one, they have 3 companies, or they don't have they have 3 companies that that make this conglomerate or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they pool, like, hey, you take a little bit of money, we'll take a little bit of, we'll all match each other, and then we'll create like a purse that's giant. I don't know.
For sponsoring?
Yeah, like for a tournament, like make Worlds what I think what it should be, which is you win Worlds and it's like you get all this awesome shit.
Yeah.
Not USDG, like winning USDGC is the more prestigious title versus winning Worlds, which is, I think, should be the biggest pool of money.
Yeah.
The biggest everything. Like, take money and filter it into this, make it the best it can possibly be. Pay people to be there to help run the tournaments, pay people to do well at these tournaments, and pay the dude who wins a fat stack of cash because he took the time and energy throughout life or practice and everything, and like, here's $100,000 or something. Like, if the 3 companies took $100,000 from each one of them, like how big of a hit is that on them to invest in something like this, as to where even if it's one tournament a year, you have one chance to make it big.
But that's kind of the USDGC, right? So Innova,
kind of,
like Innova in 1999 started the USDGC, and then they put up, at the time, it hasn't really grown in terms of like top prize, but at the time was an absorbent amount of money.
Right.
Like you could win $10,000. It was more than Worlds. It was more than anything. And they were like, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And they have continued to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like other manufacturers sponsor other majors or other tournaments, stuff like that, right? Like the MVP right? Used to be Marshall Street or whatever. Like you have MVP, you have DDO, right? The Dynamic Disc Open, and you have that stuff. Like those manufacturers are then sponsoring that tournament. But for the sponsor itself, like for the manufacturer itself, like it just comes down to like a marketing.
Mhm.
Like it's legit. Like they're not running like they have a business plan of how to grow the sport, how to grow the market share, how to do all that, and is putting up a giant purse for a tournament going to make a difference in that? I don't know. I don't know if
I
it's
don't know.
worth the money, like on their part. Because if you made a prize, like if all of a sudden the Dynamic Disc Open, you won 25 grand for first place, are more people going to watch it? Are more people going to buy discs? Are more people going to, you know what I
I
mean?
mean, maybe
Yeah.
because one of the questions that I've gotten throughout years is like, well, what do you like? Eventually, they find out I disc golf or whatever, and then they're like, well, do you make money at that? I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, technically, yeah. It's not like I make a living off of it or whatever. Like that
Right.
weird thing where it's like bitches don't just come flowing around because you make all this money or whatever.
Right.
It's
Disc
like,
golf
dude, you
dollars.
could win like your local tournament and make a couple $100 or something.
Yeah.
But if I were to be like, yeah, no, like I won this tournament and I made 20 grand,
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like you made 20 grand throwing disc. Yeah, I made 20 grand.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge thing. And I think that would show more of a seriousness on the outside community for even just people in your immediate like network where so I like, hey Darren, nice to meet you. Like I heard you like play disc golf and you're avid at it and whatever, but like do you make anything? And you're just like, yeah, no, actually like I play and do this and that. And I played really well. I took second place at this tournament and I still made 5 grand or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I still think that like in comparison to traditional golf, 5 grand is nothing. But in terms of disc golf, where the stereotype is you're just out in the woods hucking discs, smoking weed or whatever,
Yeah.
that a lot of that comes with what kind of money can you really make doing something like this? And even if you're like you didn't win and you made $5,000, would kind of I think change the tune of, oh, this really isn't just like a stoner sport. Like you can actually make real money doing it. It's not at the same level as other sports, but it's more than what they thought because $5,000 is a lot of money no matter what. Like
Yeah.
even if you're making millions, I think still it's like you go to spend $5,000 on like a shirt, it's like you're still spending 5 grand. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been a millionaire. I don't know if it is like that or not.
Yeah.
I think to us peons, 5 grand is just a lot of money. Like it's like you said, it's a small used car.
Yeah.
But to anyone I've ever interacted with, if I were to say that, I think I could say hands down for sure everyone would be surprised because it would far exceed what they expected to say. I think me saying, yeah, I won or I took second place or something and I only made X amount of dollars, that they're like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, and I think going into it, after that, they're not thinking like maybe they enjoy the game themselves, but they don't pursue it anymore because there's nothing more competitive as to where maybe this actually strikes something on top of what they already do of like, oh, you can actually like make stuff like money doing this.
Yeah.
That maybe they look into it more, maybe they get a little more competitive with it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I just think that it's a process to get there.
Yeah.
And like for me, I don't think that sponsorship to players translates towards people making more money when they disc golf.
Yeah.
It would translate more to better players.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't say that meaning like that's what's going to help, but
Yeah.
I'm saying having that as a thing to strive for or having like that level at companies, I think maybe not now, but at some point is like needed.
Yeah.
But I'm saying taking their money and investing into tournaments or into whatever, maybe again, I don't know. I've never owned a big disc golf manufacturing company or been able to really talk to people about numbers like that. Cause when I do have that chance, it's very like, I'm just not going to tell you or whatever.
Right.
So I don't know how much of an expense that would be for them, or even if like worst case scenario, it's just, I spent 100 grand and got no return. Like how much of a hit is that really? Like
It's $100 grand hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that,
It's
but
a lot
in
of
terms,
$5,000 shirts.
yeah.
It's $25,000 shirts.
Yeah.
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 20
But I
shitty
mean-
used cars.
Yeah. But in thinking of like growing that, like that's, I mean, risk reward. I mean,
Yeah.
the sport itself, if the risk is you're out $100,000 with nothing to show for it,
Yeah.
versus you have a whatever percent chance, like 50% chance that you create like a good growth in whatever you're showing, that like you're more serious about it or something, and that just sponsoring a tournament where it's like, I mean, how many times have you seen $100,000 added cash to a tournament, and then you're like, well, $100,000 and there's 100 pros, and I know I can beat 50% of these pros.
Right, but the thing that brings the $100,000 added cash in is because there's 4 million people watching.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to bring it, right?
Yeah.
Like Century 21 sponsored the last tournament, right?
Mm.
So you have Century 21 kicked in the money for advertising for the coverage. You know what I mean? And it's and so they have like 3 commercials embedded in the coverage that you watch or fast forward through or whatever, but at least they're there on every little half an hour video that you watch of post production. So if the tournament's 3 rounds and each one's 2, right, you're watching at least 4 to 6 Century 21 commercials per round, right? You're watching 18 Century 21 commercials, and it's worth
Yeah.
it to Century 21 because they're getting 18 commercials in front of 1 million people.
Right.
So I think like the money going in and the prize money and all that stuff goes up by advertising revenue, and that
Yeah.
comes from more people caring about and watching disc golf.
Yeah.
And I think it's a process that you get the ball rolling. Like the more prize money there is, there's more people that are going to care. There's more people that are going to work towards that. There's more people that are going to tune in. Then the more advertising dollars you're going to get in, and it's going to be a ball that keeps rolling.
Right.
We're at this like kind of like slow roll, but it's
Yeah.
definitely better because
It's like trying to make a snowball and the snow just isn't sticky enough or what.
Yeah.
Like it's
well, it's we're still at like a small snowball.
yeah.
Because even if you look at like 2001, the top player was about 25,000.
Yeah.
So we're almost 20 years later. We're 18 years later when we
Yeah.
look up Paul for 2019, and it's 57,000. It's
Right.
over doubled
Yeah.
in 19 years.
Right.
So-
What I was going to say earlier too is, so the first year they had it, you said first place made 10,000 or whatever.
Yep.
And then I remember when Shoestrick won it, and it was what, like 2010, 11, somewhere in that area. So about 10 years later, so he wins the tournament that Idova started at $10,000, and he got a little more than that. I don't remember what it was, like 13 or 14, I think.
Yeah.
It might be slightly more. But I think, and then from there to now, I think the number's about the same or maybe less. Because I remember at one point, Shoestrick won tens of thousands, or not tens of thousands, but like $10,000 plus. And then a few years later, whoever won it then made $7,000. And it's like, well, the money kind of like receded. So from that point in time, from when it started, the prize pool is still same-ish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think possibly just being able, even just in word of mouth, me telling people who they're interested in the game, they're casual or whatever, being able to say like, yeah, I play competitively and I make X amount of money doing it. And that X amount isn't, I make a couple $100 every now and then or whatever it is, versus like, yeah, I make like a couple $1,000s a weekend, like every tournament or whatever that I go to, that there'd be more like automatically more interest, because then they're part of a sport where it's like, dude, if I got good enough, I could also be making like a couple thousand like a weekend or something like that. So maybe when becoming more of a weekend warrior isn't so grindy versus like you're striving to get something better. Like I think it's sparking more of an interest in the sport in that word of mouth when people ask, because if I'm getting asked, I'm not the only one getting asked that same question for sure. Like it's possible that I am, but the likelihood is, I don't know, the difference between top earner in disc golf versus ball golf or whatever.
Right. But even
I don't know.
even if you look at like ball golf, right? So the amount of money that went up, the amount of prize money that went up with Tiger Woods was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like the prize money in golf exploded when Tiger Woods started playing. Like if you go back to like the late 80s and the prize money they got, it was still a lot of money, but it was nothing compared to once Tiger Woods started playing because the viewership went through the roof. You had people that did not play golf, didn't give a shit about golf, tuning in on Sunday
Yeah.
to watch this guy just kick the shit out of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And then unbeknownst to us, get into a touring van full of like Swedish supermodels.
Yeah.
You know, like if you had coverage for that, like man, the money that would be in golf now would be insane. But
Yeah.
yeah, so like you had someone that brought a lot of people to view golf and get sponsors involved in golf because now all of a sudden there's all these crazy people watching golf. And then
Yeah.
it stuck. A lot more people, same thing like you're talking about. Like a lot of people got involved in golf being like, I want to be like Tiger Woods, who normally would have never played golf.
Yeah.
And like now, like I talk about, like where you had Paul and then you had like people improve upon it. And now you have people growing up with like proper mechanics and you're watching like, you know, Calvin Heimberg and, you know, Thomas Gilbert and Anthony Barella and even, you know, Eagle and these young guys who like grew up with proper mechanics play and you're like, wow. And
Yeah.
you're at that point now with ball golf, and ball golf's been around for, you know, hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So you have now all of these guys playing who grew up watching Tiger as a little kid.
Yeah.
And now you have like a group of guys other than recently, you know, DeChambeau, but you have a group of guys
Yeah.
who grew up watching Tiger and were like, if that's possible, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then it just exploded golf. And now you have top money earner winning $15 million for winning the FedEx Cup
Right.
and winning like the, you know, the tour championship.
Yep.
So I think you need that in golf, like in disc golf, that you need people that are going to bring people to watch disc golf, or you need something that's going to bring people to watch disc golf that's going to keep them engaged in disc golf and be like, wow, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, prize money is one way, word of mouth, to do that. But I think there's no way to get to like big prize money without big viewership,
Yeah.
unless you just had manufacturers being like, yeah, we think it's going to like drive business models to like throw more money into prize money. And I don't think that they look at it that way. And I don't know if that would actually pay off, because I don't know if you're going to get more people to watch knowing that it was like, you know, worth a ton of money.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I think it's just growing. I think it's growing pretty quickly now, just organically without giant purses. But you still
Yeah.
have to look at like the money's doubled in 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like you went from 25 grand to 57 grand or whatever it is that Paul made in 18 years. And I think it's kind of like a, you know, I don't think it's a linear growth. I think it's going to be more of like an exponential growth. And so in 18 years from now, what is the top prize winner going to be? Is it
Yeah.
going to be double that? I would say it's probably going to be more than double that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like back to the original, like I would think probably within 10 years, you'll have 10 guys making over 100 grand a year,
Yeah.
you know? And I think like, you know, we had some things of it being on CBS Sports. One, it was COVID, but two, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I think it like, you look at Jomez, and I remember like getting to 100,000 subscribers was like a giant deal. And they're at like 200,000 subscribers. And like, I'll watch coverage the next day and it's already had like, you know, 100,000 views or something on it.
Right.
And I think that the sport, in terms of people engaging with it and everything, grows all the time, and that's what you need. And then the money will follow as people get more and more engaged,
Yeah.
as long as, you know, there's something driving it. Like there's a
Yeah.
business end driving it.
It'd be sweet if we could get like some manufacturer to like give us some information.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows anybody.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't think that on their end, again, it's not going to make sense.
Oh yeah, but I'm curious to see what they have to say.
Yeah.
Like, what are your interests? Like, where, like, is it like you really want to grow, or is it making money, or like, how do you see, like, your plan of attack of growing the sport?
Yeah.
Like, what's your game plan? How, what's the forecast for it? Is it going as planned? Is it not, or what? Like,
Yeah.
even before COVID, like, what was going on? I don't know.
So I would look at it in terms of like, Discraft has to be like, yeah, it's totally going great.
Yeah.
It's totally going as planned,
Yeah.
right? Like they had a new, fresh approach to what they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
because they had just been kind of living off of being Discraft for however long it was, and
Yeah.
they did what they did, and then they made a change, and they were like, we're going to go get this. Like
Mhm.
this is a market that's actually like going somewhere. If we inject X, Y, and Z and Q, we can really make this a big thing. And the turnaround in Discraft's market share is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they did approach it with like, we're going to get a bunch of big names. We're going to have them throw Discraft. We're going to come out with a bunch of new plastics that are better, more consistent. We're going to have the best players in the world come and play, some of the best players in the world come and play for us and get their feed, their feedback and their insight into like what makes good discs, what we can do better, what we can do, all that. And they attacked it that way. Other companies had previously been doing that. And you had like the two major manufacturers, at least in the U.S., of Discraft and Nova, kind of asleep at the wheel for a long time.
Yeah.
But you had like Dynamic Discs and Latitude 64 and Westside Discs and Pro Discus and all these other companies like really driving like, how can we make better plastics? How can we make better discs? How can we do this? And like being much more proactive in terms of like making molds, interacting with their pros, doing all that stuff. And that's why they had like the new younger pros, because like they liked that engagement and they found it to be more beneficial to go out and find these people and get them going. And, even Discmania, who's manufactured through Innova, but they're their own thing. Like they went out and found Simon when he was a young guy, Ego when he was a young guy, like for a while before Discraft made any moves, like it really looked like Discmania had all the like young guys coming up that were going to be sweet.
Yeah.
Like they had a little power pack team of like, fuck. And most of those guys have stayed with Discmania.
Yeah.
So
and that was the company I was referring to, where it's just like you do have a couple companies that are prestigious, and Discmania is, I think, one of them, where they just have a handful of people, really, and most of them are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And they're pretty loyal.
Yeah.
Like Simon's been with them since
forever.
Since
he was a kid.
Birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have a combine.
Yep.
Right? They're actually like picking up people based on skill sets,
Yep.
right? Avery Jenkins is very active in terms of like player development. They seem like they're a pretty decently knit community in terms of like working with each other.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about stuff, I think your local club team, right? Like we're both on Small City Disc Golf.
Yeah.
And so our team is more of like what I would look at as like a wrestling team, right? So like when you have wrestling or a weightlifting team or whatever it is, right? That's separate than like everyone being so for weightlifting, right? Everybody's sponsored by Rogue. That's like the most prestigious one. Like you got all the Rogue shit with sweet buckles and those collars are holding the weights on in some way I don't even understand.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But you still have like team like Spirit Wolf or something, right? Or like maybe it's the team named after the gym that you all work out at or whatever it is. And that is like more of we as a group are working together to become great. So you used to have it with MMA gyms. You still do with MMA gyms, but like way back in the day when people were figuring out MMA. Like MMA is younger than disc golf.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be easier to market, one, because it's in a stationary place.
Yeah.
So when you pay to have that sign up on the side of the cage or on the mat inside the cage, like everybody's going to see it the whole time.
Yeah.
Part of the thing with disc golf.
And to film it is very easy.
Very easy, right? And to collect a crowd is very easy. And there's violence, which people love.
Yeah.
So that's an easy thing, like to get it to go. But when, like it started in the early to mid 90s, right?
Yeah.
But when it started then, like, okay, this is a thing. It was like, holy shit, this is sweet. Once it got going, then you had teams, right? So like Militich Fighting System, Pat Militich put together a team of these like farm boy fucking wrestlers. But he figured out like how to make it MMA. Wrestling, what striking to work on, what everything. So like now everybody kind of works on the same stuff. They may be a specialist in one thing.
Yeah.
Right. And they have rounded out their whole game. So everybody knows wrestling for takedown and takedown defense. Everybody knows Muay Thai for striking. Everybody knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? And then you supplement it with some other stuff that's like a little bit of a crossover in all those things.
Yeah.
But when it started, you had like a wrestler fighting a Taekwondo guy.
Right.
And like a judo person. Where like now that's not a thing. But the way that became not a thing is you had these groups and there was a team. So I forget what the fucking team out of Brazil was. Anyways, you had like Vanderlei Silva and all those guys out of that team. And they were like dominant. And then you had like Pat Militich with the Militich Fighting System. Like they had every fucking champion. You had like Tim Silva as like the heavyweight champion. I forget who their light heavyweight champion was. You had like Matt Hughes as welterweight. And like you had, I don't know if Franklin fought with them, but you basically had like a whole squad of dudes. And like they went there like we're the guys. We're wrestling against each other. We're like working our skills out with each other. We're figuring out a system together. We're doing this. And then they go and compete as like this squad. They all have separate sponsorships by whoever's fucking cauliflower ear cream or whatever the you know what I mean? Like Affliction or Bad Boy or whatever the sponsorships were back at the time.
Yeah.
But that had nothing to do with the team. You know what I mean? Because like when you're sponsored by Discraft, it's not like you're calling up Chandler Fry and being like, hey man, I need some help with this.
Yeah.
I'm going to swing by.
Yeah.
Right. And you're not like, hey, Barham, I need help on my like Circle 2 putting. What are you doing on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Because he's doing his own shit and he's got his own thing going on. So I think the value of and what I take out of and give to the value of like the local team setup is like, I have a group of people that I'm associated with who are all very dedicated to their progress in disc golf. And then I work with them. Like you and I work together and like are always trying to work things out, whatever. And that team, I think in that sponsorship is more identifying like I'm down with these guys and like we're working to figure this out. So when I go places like we have, you know, the Viking Industrial Design like training center and gym and like, you know, the studio now.
Sports store.
Right, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But like as a group, like we're all trying to work towards that goal of like how to become great and then individually making ourselves as great as we can be.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a different thing than like being sponsored by a store or being sponsored by like Mitten Bags or being sponsored by some other like maker or seller of goods that then like, you know, those goods are in some way making you better or you're representing those goods or that thing. So I think like the team membership, like your local team group, whatever it is, membership, I think that it's more of like, these are the guys that I'm with and we're trying to get good.
Yeah.
And some teams are like more proactive in terms of like working together and trying to get there. And some teams are just like, we smoke more weed than everyone else on the course.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're the team that's going to show up fucking drunk and annoying.
God. Yeah.
You know?
You want to play
like
carb your buddy.
Yeah.
Boy, you don't want to play with us.
Yeah. We'll kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's, you know, there's different things, but for me, that local team and the reason why I'm on the team that, you know, that we're on is because like, that's the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
You know, so I try to make myself available to those guys and then those guys try to make themselves available to me to like work out the kinks and, you know, like, let's do this, let's do that. Let's work on this. Let's work on that. But yeah, I don't know, like the sponsorship thing. And we've talked about it before. Like, I think you will get to the point. I think like we're looking at different parts of it. You and I, like in this conversation, like we're looking at different parts of it, but I think it's all like after a certain level of progress, you know, like once there's enough people that view and care about and support disc golf and disc golf sponsors, you know what I mean? Non-manufacturer sponsors or manufacturer sponsors, you know, and then there's enough money like injected into the sport that then I think the manufacturers are going to care more about their guys being on the coverage.
Yeah.
And then they're going to do more to have their sponsorships, you know, to have those guys on coverage.
Yeah.
And I think it'll all just kind of like play itself out. I'm just interested to see, and the one that I think about is like collegiate disc golf. Like, how does that go? Because it doesn't come down to viewership. You know what I mean? You have Section 9, which is a law that was made stating that like women's sports get the same amount of support as men's sports, and that all sports get supported by the school regardless of revenue generated. Because before it used to be like the football team, you know, at some of these universities makes tens of, if not hundreds of millions of dollars for the university.
Yeah.
So those guys like have a barbershop.
Yeah.
You know, like a giant, crazy state-of-the-art workout center with like crazy elite trainers and like all this stuff, all their supplements, all everything like ready for them. And then you have like the women's diving team, and they're like at their local, you know, like city pool, like trying to put a run together to be the national champions.
Meanwhile, there's kids just jumping around.
Yeah, there's people like jumping into the pool, and you're like trying to dive, and like all the fucking football players like dripping in swag, you know, just like, yeah, I'm here. So they made rules to like prevent, you know, like sports not being supported based on how much revenue they bring in.
Yeah.
So I think at some point, like disc golf, as it jumps in popularity and as there's like a movement toward it, like there will be collegiate teams. Like right now, the collegiate teams are clubs. It's like Ferris State's disc golf club.
Yeah.
They don't have scholarship players. There's not the same requirements as like the NCAA and all that stuff. And it's just a club. And so you have like these club kind of playing against each other. It's like an organized intramural setup.
Yeah.
Intercollegiate intramural, basically.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it was a thing of that it was a collegiate sport and you could get a scholarship. Would people do that?
Mm-hmm.
And what would those people look like?
Right.
You know what I mean? And what's the rules? Because with collegiate sports, you can't take anything. You can't take any money. You can't take any stuff from an outside. So you couldn't be sponsored by Discraft and play for U of M.
Okay.
Because Discraft is giving you stuff. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Even if somebody bought you a pair of tennis shoes, you could lose like all your shit and get the university in trouble.
Really?
Yeah. And it happens all the time. Because someone gifted them like a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh shit. But I wonder what that would be. So you have like Kyle Klein right now, who would be, or is, I don't know if he's going on to school online or what, but he'd be a freshman in college.
Yeah.
And he's out there killing it on the tour. Would someone at that level be willing to not go on the tour or not accept cash? Because you can't accept cash and be an amateur in collegiate sports. So you'd never be able to accept cash and you'd have to play. But you could get a college scholarship.
Yeah.
Which obviously by the prize money we're looking at is worth way more
Yeah.
than the money you're going to get on tour.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It would be interesting. It would be funny as fuck if your kid accidentally like took money at a B tier when they were like 17. And you told them like, don't do it. But that week you were like stuck at work
Yeah.
and they came home with $75. And you were like, you stupid son of a bitch. I hope that $75 can pay for 4 years of college, you fuck. You know, like you just blew your chance to get any kind of scholarship.
And then knock him right in the forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, Walter. Good luck.
Larry.
But I don't know, like if that was available, I mean, that would be my goal, like in disc golf, you know, that like my kid could go to college playing and play disc golf. And then like afterward, there'd be something available to him where as long as his body was able to do it, he could play disc golf and make a living at it.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't know. I don't know how all that works out. There's a lot of details to be figured out. Obviously, you couldn't be smoking weed either.
Yeah.
Right? Because they drug test NCAA students.
Yeah.
Maybe that would help legitimize the sport. I think that would really help to legitimize the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they have spike ball championships for college.
Do they?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if you can get a scholarship to play spike ball for a university.
Maybe.
But they have like huge tournaments and collegiate championships and all that. I don't know if it's an NCAA sport or not. But if you can do it for spike ball, you can do it for disc golf.
Yeah. I don't see why not.
Yeah. I think it could work.
Yeah.
So,
I wish we had the answers.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out.
Because we're just speculating. So yeah,
time,
we'll see.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, just if you're going to buy goods, buy the goods of the people that sponsor disc golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Support them.
Support them. Because then they'll be like, I sponsored disc golf. That's what'll really drive it. Instead of like, how much did you make playing disc golf? It would be like, how much was your sales impacted by sponsoring disc golf?
Yeah.
If it was like, oh, I sponsored, you know, like we were a whole sponsor on this fucking tournament. And then our sales went up 10%, you know, the next month.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the thing that would drive you to $25,000 winning prizes. That would be the biggest one.
Oh, yeah. Even like the sponsorships on the skins matches and everything. And those are like fairly minimal sponsorships. It's like long drive. Here's $100 for a long drive on this hole or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
And then some code to get whatever off of your discount. But like you get your name out there.
Yep.
And I'll go on there. I've been on OTB many a time just to try to find what it is that I'm looking for or whatever. And so now that's just in like my arsenal of if I'm shopping for whatever, that's a site that I just go to.
Yep.
So it's not even like a one-time thing. It's just now you're just in someone's Rolodex, mental Rolodex of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's something that I meant to talk to Dave about for the next gen tournaments and everything is like, dude, you should just hop on to there. Like, why not? I know we've talked about it before, but I mean, anyways.
What,
support
sponsor like a CTP or long
something.
drive on
Just
there?
get the name out there.
Yeah.
Or maybe he has and they just weren't about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, totally help support just disc golf, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your local sponsors and all
Yes.
that. Yeah, because that's the biggest one that'll drive it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I'm saying, like, if dynamic discs, instead of it being, I don't know what the DDO payouts are, but instead of it being $5,000, if they put like $10,000 as the prize money, is it going to make more people watch? Is it going to drive in any way the retail response to that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They've obviously figured by their calculations that it wouldn't, and
Yeah.
that's why they don't do it.
Yeah.
So,
Or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe they didn't think of it. Seems really unlikely, but
I'm sure all of their players have mentioned it to them. Like, I'm sure they have a questionnaire of like, what would make your sponsorship better, or what would make your disc golf interaction better. I guarantee they all said
yeah.
better prize money and more out of my
Oh
sponsorship.
yeah, for sure.
So I'm sure it's been brought to their attention
Yeah.
at least
But
once.
I mean, that's why it would be sweet if somehow just having some sort of answer from them,
Yeah.
like whoever it is,
Yeah.
what it really is, just to have a better understanding instead of just speculating
Yeah.
and guessing, and then just like maybe we're right, maybe we're not. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Cool. You ready to work out?
yeah,
Let's get you looking sleepy.
let's fucking
I'm
get it.
concerned. We'll have to do more pre-workout. All right, let's do it.
Bye, everybody.
Cue the little kid spinning.
Bing, 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 bing.